Manchester United 1, Brighton Hove Albion 2. Manchester United crash out of the FA Cup. Season is over. And I just want to start off the show by giving a round of applause to Ineos, the board, and everybody else. We deserve this. Thank you very much. You have done this to us. You have written off basically our season once again with your just stupidityness. And, I mean, the result, the performance was crap. It was absolute crap, and we deserve to get knocked out. I'm absolutely fuming at the board. I'm fuming at Ineos. They have single-handedly led us here to this moment in time. We fully deserve this. They deserve this because they suck at their job. And this is where we're at now. Season is over. Again, not Darren Fletcher's fault. Won't hit him because he's just a guy trying to help his club, doing a job. But, the players, the way we played, disgusting. It was trash. Garbage. Absolute garbage. So, we'll get into it more. Please make sure you smash the like button. It helps the channel grow, so get that done, people. We greatly appreciate that. And if you're new and you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell icon so you get notified when we go live. We're trying to get to 3,500 subscribers. We're at 3,280. So, Box is here, and Box has so many average players. Cunha, complete waste of a signing. Well, listen, this is what I've been saying. And, I'm very angry because these people are telling me, oh, we got to play a fullback. Oh, we got to, it's the system, it's the formation. And I was here saying, well, I just don't think the team is very good. I just don't think the players are that good. I think we need to continue to improve. I think we need to continue to spend money. And, people are trying to tell me, no, we should be getting more out of these players. And I'm like, I don't really think so. Well, now we're playing a fullback. And people will say, well, it's Fletcher and he's inexperienced. Okay, well, you said the same thing about Ruben. To me, there's no difference really between them. Actually, Ruben's more experienced than him. And, now we're here. Now we're floating, now we're floating in complete 100% uncertainty. Okay, and this is all Ineos is doing. This is all the board. This is all Wilcox, Barada, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and everybody else involved. This is all them. Okay, this is all on them, 100% all on them. And they've put us in this position. And now, listen, before, okay, we were inconsistent and some of the performances were shit and some of them were disgusting. But the guy had us sitting in 6th and 5th, and we had some stability because he was here for a year, right? He was here for a year. We played his way, okay? Now you uprooted the whole thing. 2 matches before, we had to play this pivotal FA Cup game because this was our season. We're not going to win anything else. There's nothing else to go for. Top 4 or top 5 is now a trophy to us, which is not a trophy, but that's essentially our trophy. That's what we have left for this season, okay? We're not in the fucking Carabao Cup. We're not in the FA Cup anymore. We've been knocked out. A trophy this season is going to be 4th to 5th place, if we can even get there, which now I don't know what we're going to do because obviously they have to hire the interim manager, and who knows what's going to happen. It could go good, could go bad, but I don't know. Listen, I don't want to knock Darren Fletcher because it's not his fault. All right. Yeah, he's in charge, but it's not his fault he's in this position. Our incompetent, stupid people running the football club have created this disaster situation yet again. They did it last year. They did it again this year. And both seasons, the potential to write off both seasons. And so far, they've taken one step closer to writing this season off because we are now out of the FA Cup. So, Box says Cunha, complete waste of signing. Guys, get your thoughts and comments in if you're new. Don't worry about it. Get in there. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you're thinking. Box says should have bought a center mid. Well, we all said that, and we all said, listen, regardless of the manager, whoever's here, they're still going to need players. We still need to go and buy. And Manchester United's position, well, not Manchester United's position, but Ineos's position is, nah, we're not going to buy anybody. We'll get him in the summer, dude. Guys, don't worry. We're gonna get Elliot Anderson and Baleba in the summer. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about if we miss the European football. We'll still get them. Don't worry about it. It's fine, guys. It's fine. Only Fernandez is good enough to start. The rest are average. Says Box. Cash says, was Sak and Amorim right? I don't think so. There is no difference. And guess what? In mid-Jan, we have only to play for top 4. Well, here's the thing, right? And people get very angry. They get very upset at me for saying these things. And it's and they get very confused. I'm not here to defend the poor results or poor decision-making that Ruben Amorim would make. But when you look at the circumstances, again, we had some sort of a stability. We have a less stability now. We have less of an identity because we've gone backwards and now we're playing something totally different to what we've been doing for a whole year, right? We had a guy here with a clear idea, clear plan. It might not have been great, but what you did was you removed the guy and you've caused more instability. You've caused more chaos. You've caused more unknown. And now we're seeing it play out in real time. Okay, that's why I didn't agree with sacking Ruben. I never said that he was good enough and he deserved to stay there, but I looked at it and I was saying, I think he should get till the end of the season because, yeah, we're in 6th at the time and we missed a bunch of opportunities and maybe we should have taken them and maybe we should have been higher, but we didn't, but we were there. And I was like, I want to see the guy go to the end of the season and carry on, so we can see what we can get, okay? When you remove that guy out and you don't have a plan, which we didn't have a plan, you have now caused more instability, more chaos, more unknown. And now we're seeing it play out on the pitch. And that's why I don't think it was a good idea, because it's literally almost like Ten Hag 2.0. And this is what I was afraid of. This is what I was worried about. You get rid of a guy in the middle of the season. We've seen it happen 2 or 3 times already, and we don't get a bounce. We don't get better. It actually gets worse. And I'm saying, I think to me, that's a massive gamble when we are in a decent position and we still have an opportunity and we're going to get rid of a guy to go into the unknown in the middle of the season, because everybody thinks as soon as you get rid of him and you get somebody else in, it's going to go so much better. The grass is automatically greener on the other side. And I was just sitting here saying, I don't believe that. And I can't buy into that because that's not true. It's not always greener on the other side, but they were certain it had to be greener. We have to play. We're Manchester United. We got to play a 4-back. It's our identity. We play our identity. We'll be great. Lawrence says, lousy performance, lads. Mr. Reynoso is here, says, my guy. What's up, Reynoso? How you doing, buddy? Box says, Delo regresses game by game. Euro's been poor all season. Licha didn't look good enough post-injury. Ugarte so limited. Casemiro way past it. Cunha very greedy and not good enough. And listen, I don't know if I agree with like all of those specific details, but basically what I will agree with is I don't think the squad is well put together. I don't think the squad is a good team, a good unit, and it needs a lot of work. And I've been saying this for time. And it was true when Ruben was there, and I said it would be true after if Ruben got the sack. And it's still true. And it's going to be true. You know what I mean? It's going to be true. So Cash says, next we have City and then Arsenal. By February, a chance of top 4 will also be lost. Well, listen, whatever comes, not necessarily us as fans, but we deserve it because of the way we're run and because of the way that we make decisions. We deserve it. If we lose those matches and we miss out on top 4, these people in charge, that's what they deserve to happen to them, because they are stupid. They are stupid. They are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. And they have, again, potentially done a massive gamble and destroyed our season. Okay? They have single-handedly destroyed our season with their inept understanding of how to run a football club. My buddy Daniel Casares here. What's up, Daniel? He said, bro, what happened? What happened is, well, to make a long story short, we have a bunch of morons that run our football club, and they are idiots. And they sacked our manager, and then they didn't have a plan to replace the manager, so they put in a guy that has the experience of an under-18s and isn't a manager. And we have an average squad, and we get exposed and we lose matches. So that's essentially what happened. Lawrence says no fairy tales for United anymore. No Fergie time equalizer winners. Must be bad karma. I don't think it's bad karma. I think it's we have lost our way, and people still want to act like Fergie just walked out the door last year and it's been 12 years. And we ain't that. You know, we've lost that. We've lost our way. And this is why I've been saying we need to build back. We need to make something modern. We need to make something new. But people don't want to go through this process. People don't want to take time. People don't want to be mediocre for a season or two to try and actually build something that's actually concrete. No, we demand instant results. And then, you know, at the first signs of worries and troubles, we try to cut loose and cut and run. And, you know, we throw everything out the window. And so we will never go forward. We will never actually go forward because all we're doing is making, you know, a little bit of progress, and we say, we don't like it, and we throw it away and we start over again. So we're basically jogging in place while everybody else is actually moving forward. So, the only creative spark was coming from either Fernandez or Lacey. And you know what? That's another sad thing because, again, I've always said, listen, I understand the importance of the youth at this football club, and I want the youth to be a thing, and I want to develop youth. But I think it's fucking super sad that we have a bunch of international players on the pitch, okay? And they play like shit, and then we have to rely on an 18-year-old kid coming off of the bench to do something for us to save our ass. You know, to me, that's embarrassing. To me, that's sad as fuck. Okay? Because I don't believe in that. I believe that they should be a part of the integration in a team that's actually good, and they find their little place and they grow. Not come on the pitch, kid. We need you to save our ass because our team is shit. Okay? So, you know, Lacey plays, Kobe plays. This is what people wanted. And we're still losing matches. So my ultimate question is to these people, are you happy now? Are you happy now? Are you okay now? Or is this okay? You know, we got a guy here that understands the club. Kobe Mainu started today. Shea Lacey came on, played a bunch of minutes. Are you happy now? We're playing a fullback. Are you happy? This is my question. Because no. I'm going to hammer these people. I'm going to hammer these people because I said that I don't believe what they're telling me. I don't think that they were right. And so far, I know it's 2 matches, but so far, I've been proven right. Okay? So far, I've been proven right. Lyle is here, says, hey, Eric and all you Reds. Joe Bay 707 says, this is going to sound really crazy, but we need to harass the owners and their family for them to leave. We must have no shame. This club needs new owners. We definitely need new owners. It doesn't really sound that crazy, Joe Bay. I'm not, you know, listen, we're in a living hell. Yeah, and these guys have created it, so it's not that crazy, okay? But what I will say is, this fan base needs to come together. They need to put aside their differences. They need to put their fucking egos aside. They need to come and work together if we're going to get any real change, okay? And they need to be smart about it as well. We need to make something or do something that's going to actually have an impact. And until we do that, we'll be divided and we'll continue to be conquered. That's what I'll say about that. But I don't think it's that crazy, my friend. Renoso says, nah, I'm here to defend Amorim 100%. He deserved to stay getting this squad to even look organized. Well, listen, he had his plan. Listen, right now, I think the biggest difference is Darren Fletcher is an under-18s coach. He wasn't prepared for this role. Nobody was prepared for any of this, okay? He had a short turnaround. This is why I can't hit Fletcher, okay? Because it's not Fletcher's fault. It's not his fault. Like, yeah, he's in charge. And I would even go to argue and throw it back into the people's faces that, well, he's the manager. He's responsible. But I'm not going to do that to Fletcher because he doesn't have the qualifications for this. You know, these people are telling me that Ruben Amorim is out of his depth. What the fuck is Darren Fletcher? Darren Fletcher has less experience than than Ruben Amorim. But and to be fair, so does Michael Carrick, and so does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, you know, but they understand United, and I'm trying to tell people, what is understanding United? These people that tell me we need somebody that understands the club. Nobody understands the club, because what is the club? What the fuck are we right now? Nobody knows. Nobody can answer. We are not Manchester United. So even if you bring somebody in that understands the club, well, there's so many problems at this football club. You understanding the football club isn't going to make the difference. It's not going to be the decision maker. It's not going to be the make or break thing. The make or break thing is the people running the football club. I had an analogy a couple weeks ago, and I kept saying, if everything around the manager is on fire, the manager is going to catch on fire as well. And the shit is still on fire. Okay, because nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is that we sacked the manager we once had, and now we have a short interim, and then we're going to get another interim. And I'm telling you now, because of this result, right? I'm telling you right now, expect an announcement for the longer term interim manager immediately. Expect it. I don't think it's going to come today, but tomorrow, 110%. Expect the announcement. Expect it now. Lyle says, glad Man United have solved all their problems by playing a back four. I mean, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. Scholes is there, sitting next to fucking Sir Alex, having a chat in the match. I wonder what they were talking about. Nicky Butt was there as well. I'd love to get their opinions now on what's going on. Well, we played a fullback. Well, we should be playing better, no? Oh, no. Oh, now it's the players. Oh, now the players aren't good enough. Oh, the system is fine. Now the players are good. They aren't good enough. It's now the system's okay. It's just now it's the players. When, everybody else has been saying, well, I don't think the system matters too much. If the players aren't that good, doesn't matter what system you play. Would you all reinstate Amorim right now? 100%. I'd get Ruben in right now, and I'd get rid of all these fucking clowns above him. 110%. The thing is, he wouldn't come back, and rightfully so. I wouldn't blame him. But, well, maybe he would come back if we got rid of, Sejim and everybody else up there. But yeah, I thought it was stupid. I think it's a stupid thing to do, and look at where we are. With or without Amorim will be shit. But yeah, but listen, I get that. But I think what I'm saying is, like, look at the situation now. Okay, we have upheavaled a manager out, right? And we have caused more instability. We have caused more. There's more room. There's more of a chance for shit to go wrong. Because at least Ruben was there. He understood. He had his system. We're flying in the dark right now. We got Fletcher. He's unprepared for this. He's trying things out. He's trying to do something. He's never done this before. He doesn't really know what he's doing. Then we're going to get either Ali or Michael Carrick. And God, I hope it's Michael Carrick. Not because I think it's going to be super amazing or anything, but just because I've seen Ali. I don't want to go down that path. And I'd rather try something else with Michael Carrick. And maybe it'll be good and maybe it'll be bad. But I think when you look at the situation and you say, well, listen, he had this season and we were in sixth, and sometimes we were good and sometimes we were shit. It was inconsistent, but he was trying to build something, and you remove that aspect, and now you just cause a bunch of massive unknown. Well, if we're not really stable, why would you want to do such a thing? Why would you want to be in a position where we are inconsistent and now you're going to cause more chaos? Isn't that going to make a bigger problem? Isn't that going to be a bigger issue for us? Because we're still trying to find our feet. We're still trying to perfect our thing. So now let's cause more chaos. Let's throw a fucking wrench into a socket and see what happens. United will draw or beat City because this is Arsenal's season. Wow, we'll see. I don't know. I don't feel any confidence, and I don't know what's going to happen. So, and let's just put it into perspective. Whoever it is, whether it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick, they have 1 week to prepare for this match, okay? 1 week. 1 week. They have 1 week. Haaland will feast on our defense. Well, that's another thing. Again, I think a few of us said, well, people are complaining that we're playing 5 defenders, even though I disagree with that, and a 3-back. And, they're saying, well, we're conceding goals. We're conceding goals playing defenders. All these defenders. It's a disgrace. And I said, well, what do you think is going to happen when we play one less defensive player and we play a 4-back? Are we magically going to start getting clean sheets? If we're struggling in defense with extra defensive player, which at times it's not even an extra defensive player because usually we have Ahmad there, so he's not a defensive player. What do you think? We're going to get more clean sheets now? We're suddenly going to have Franz Beckenbauer in the fucking back with Vidic or Rio? No. I mean, we just played 2 games. We conceded 2 goals in each of them. And one of them was a 19th place team. United have even less games to play now. And in fact, Lyle, it is, I don't know the year, but it is something crazy. Like, we will play this season, we will play the least amount of matches we have played since like 19, I don't know, pick a year, 67, 68, 72. I don't know what the year was, but it, long time ago. Long time ago. We will play the least amount of games this season than we have in the last 40-something years. So, yeah, there you go. Lowest, even longer. Box said it. Lowest tally of games in 111 years. Even worse. Even fucking worse. Cash said, what has Cunha done this season? He looks mediocre, unmotivated, and greedy. And I'm saying, and if I say anything against him, some fans criticize me by saying that's his game and I'm a fool. Well, they're fools. They're fools, okay? Because they're player FC, all right? And those are the guys, Cash. Listen, there's no favoritism here. If you play like shit, you play like shit, and you get called out for it. If you play good, we'll give you plaudits because that's how football goes. This is a professional sport, and that's just how it is. It's part of the game. Fucking deal with it. But these people, Cash, they're fanboys of Cunha, or they overrate the fucking players. Like I've been saying, they overrate these players. They look at them in awe, like they're a 6-year-old child looking up at a fucking superstar. Okay? And then they refuse to criticize them. They refuse to be true. They refuse to be fair because they've publicly gone out and said that these players are amazing. They're going to tear people up. And then they have to stick to that position. And then they have to go as far as to attack people that would criticize them because they can't handle that shit. Okay? These people are soft. Our players are soft. The club is soft. It's soft. We have a soft, weak mentality. We don't have warriors. We don't have battlers. We don't have soldiers. We are weak all around. And not everybody. Listen, I know it sounds a little bit like generalizing, but there's a lot of them. Okay? There is a lot of them. Legit 40 games this season. Yep. And we're not, and we're going to struggle 40 games this season and we're going to struggle. I hope we don't, but I feel like we are. And whoever we hire, even if listen, I want Carrick. If they get Solskjaer, I hope this guy figures out how to go on a fucking 10-game winning streak. I don't give a shit. I just want to win and I want to have a good season, but I don't believe in it. I don't feel confident in it, and I am scared. I am afraid of what is going to come because I think for the people that said that it was bad and it needed to be better, those are the people, this is my beef that I have with these people because they tried to tell me that there's no way that it can get worse. And I tried to tell them it can always get worse. Your mistake is thinking that it can't get worse when it can always get worse. It can always get worse. Okay? If you own Bitcoin and Bitcoin's at 100K and it drops to 50 and you sit there and you say, it can't possibly go any lower than 50. It's dropped 50 already. Your mistake is thinking that it's not going to go to fucking 30 when it's already dropped to 50. Okay? And that's how you lose all your money and that's how you get fucked. And it's the same thing for this scenario. It's the same exact thing for this scenario. Grace says, I think we need to find a 3-4-3 manager. I love it, Grace, because that's what I was going to say. You stole my joke. She said, joke, what a shit show of a club. Yeah, listen, I think, let me be a bit of a sarcastic dick today, okay? Let me be a bit of a sarcastic dick. I think it's the system. I think, the fullback, I think it's a terrible system. Horrible system. I think what we should do is we should go and get a manager that plays a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-3. And, it'll be phenomenal. We'll be playing like prime Barca, fucking prime Real Madrid, prime Brazil in fucking 2002 World Cup, and we'll dominate, and we'll absolutely slap everybody up. Guarantee fourth place, fifth place, guarantee the Champions League. Book your ticket now, get it done. Get it done, 100%. And the manager we have is shit, so we got to go and get somebody else that actually plays a 3-4-2. Go get them in, and we'll be fantastic. We'll be amazing. We'll be the biggest, most amazing thing. Reynoso says, I'm not blaming Fletcher. It's a dig at the fans who forgot that this is exactly how outplayed we used to look in a 4-2-3-1. And I'm the same, Reynoso. I'm the same. It has nothing to do with Darren Fletcher. I'm not protecting the bad things that Ruben did. It's not an excuses for the shit things that he did, but I didn't find it grounds to necessarily stop it at that moment. I wanted it to continue to the end to see what he can do, because I felt like he was in a position where he can still do good or it can be bad, and I wanted it to play out. But these fans, this is who I'm going at. It's a dig at them, and I have every right to do it. And if you disagree, answer back at me. If you don't like it and you have a problem with it and you can't handle it, there's always the door. So, but I'll sit down and I'll talk to anybody about it, even if you disagree with it. But Elias says Kobe has come in and solved our midfield. And again, listen, this is the thing. Like, and these guys will say, listen, it's only 2 matches, and you can't say this after 2 matches. No. Like I said the last time after the Burnley game, where is the same energy from these people? Okay, where is the same energy? Where is it? Where is the same accountability? Where is it? Where are the standards that you profess to everybody, that you screamed and attacked and shouted and berated at people because they didn't want to sack the manager in the middle of the season because they didn't necessarily think it would be a good idea? Okay? And the people that disagreed with you, that it's not fully the system, that we don't have a good team. Okay? Where is the same energy? Where are the people shouting about the standards? We just got knocked out of the FA Cup at home to Brighton, a team that, by the way, our fucking manager that got sacked beat them and won the game. And I don't think, listen, I don't know. Nobody knows. We'll never know. It's like Kanye when he won that award and he went on the stage and said, everybody would like to know what I would have done if I didn't win. And he said, I guess we'll never know. And he mic dropped and walked off. Same thing. I mean, I would like to think, and I feel, that we wouldn't have lost like this if Ruben was still here. I think the game would have played out differently and maybe we would have won. I don't know 100%, but I don't think we would have seen that display. I don't think we would have seen what we just saw from the match. Listen, we left it too little too late. We score a goal from a corner in the 87th fucking minute. The shots that we had on target were shit. They were all at the goalkeeper. All the other shots, all off target. Okay? All off target. All of them. Delo, and I don't want to go too hard on the individuals because the team performance was shit all around. But Delo, I think, is a player. He played bad today. I think Delo is suffering because I think his morale is down. Okay? I think his morale is down from the manager being sacked, because when you look at a player like Delo, Bruno, maybe Maguire, this is the 4th or 5th time this has happened at this football club. How can you not be demoralized where you feel like you get a manager and you're trying to build something and the club says fuck this and they rip it apart and you have to start over again, okay? Delo, this is like his 5th fucking guy, all right? He was brought in with Mourinho. Mourinho got sacked. Then Ali came in and Ali got sacked. Ranić came in and he got sacked. Ten Hag came in and he got sacked. And now Amorim came in and he got sacked. This is his 5th fucking guy. You don't think he's there at the football club all disillusioned, like what the fuck is going on? But we're here again. Again, the 5th time we're here. The fifth time we're going through this where they make all these promises and they're like, yeah, we're going to go buy players and we're going to build a project and we're going to do this. And then they say, nah, we don't feel like doing it anymore. Fuck it. And throw it all out the window. Kobe has come in and solved our midfield. At least Sesko is scoring. Yeah. Cash says, I'd also go for Carrick. Ask him to bring Hackney as well. Lyle says, I'm Carrick all the way. Folks forget how bad it went under Ollie. Lyle says, how do we get players in? Ray says, we thought the FA Cup and Europe out of the window this season is done. It's done. We did, fourth place and fifth place is our trophy. We have become Arsenal. We have become Spurs. And that's another thing. That's another thing that I have beef with these people in the fan base. That's another thing that I have beef. That they want to be entertained. They want to be entertained. Hello, I want fucking results first. Okay? Because that's how we're going to get out of this mess. I don't give a fuck about being entertained right now. Entertainment comes later. Entertainment comes after you build a base. Entertainment comes after you actually have a found strong structural foundation. I hear people talking about they want to be entertained. I've watched Spurs people talk about they want to be entertained. Like when Mourinho was there and they were doing all right, and they're like, yeah, but we're playing boring football. I don't want it. I want to be entertained. So you want to be entertained and take the piss. You want to be entertained and fucking lose matches. It doesn't make sense. How can you be entertained and you're losing games? How can you be entertained and your team's not getting 3 points and your team's not finishing in good positions? How can you be entertained? I'd rather play, for the time being, not always, but to build it, I'd rather play less exciting and get results and build a foundation and then build towards making it entertaining when we actually can reach that level. We're not at that level. Didn't Ruben beat Burnley and Brighton, or am I wrong? No, you're absolutely right. Don't let them gaslight you into thinking otherwise, my friend. And listen, it's a bit semantical to me because, all right, he beat Brighton. Listen, you say he beat Brighton, he beat Burnley, and they could say, yeah, but he lost to Everton, lost to West Ham. But the point is, again, the people running our football club have caused another massive instability this season. In the middle of the season, okay? They are so bad at their job. They are so stupid. Just think about it. We didn't have these things happening when the Glazers were here by themselves and we had a fucking banker as the CEO. And if you want to change it to a W instead of a B, I wouldn't even be mad at you. But we didn't even have this level of instability. And we had a banker as our CEO. And we had John Murtaugh. And we didn't even have a structure. And these guys have managed to make it worse. Do you know how fucking bad you have to be at your job? Do you know how stupid of a person you have to be? How much of an ego? Because I'm looking at a story, right, that came out the other day that I didn't mention the other day. And they said that in that meeting, Wilcox blew up on Amorim and basically told him, you don't have the pedigree to be the manager. And that's why Ruben came out in the press conference and said, my name isn't fucking Mourinho or Tuchel or whoever else it was, but I am the manager. And if that's true, this guy is out of his mind. He's a disgrace and he needs to be kicked out. But so does Barada and so does Sir Jim Ratcliffe and so does the Glazers. Because they're all culpable. They're all culpable. All of them. Sanchi says, can we blame this on the management? We absolutely, listen, on management, if you mean by management, you mean Ineos. If you mean Wilcox, Barada, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Glazers, absolutely 100%, it's all their fault. This is all their fault. All of their fault. If that's what you mean by management, 100% Sanchi. 100%. Ray says, Ineos out, they messed the club more than ever before, and it's remarkable that they could even do such a thing. Lauren says, we are the Tottenham of the North. That's the comparison I make. Well, because we have people in the fan base that they talking about, well, forget the fucking, forget the process. Forget trying to build something. I want to be entertained. You want to be entertained? Are you entertained now? Gladiator 3. That's where I am right now. I'm Gladiator 3. Are you not entertained? Are you not? Where are these people? I would like for them to show up and answer. Give me an answer. Give me something. Give me a rebuttal. Let's hear your points. What do you have to say now? I would like to hear from them. But now a lot of them are going to be quiet. A lot of them are going to hide because they don't got nothing to say, because they didn't know what they were saying before. They didn't know what they were saying before. They had talking points. They had flash pan words. There was no actual thought process behind it. So now they're going to scramble to try and figure out what to say. I'm in panic mode. I got to say something, but I don't know what to say because I don't know what I was really talking about. Now I got to try and figure it out. Ruben knew how to set us up against the lot in the league. They made changes, but their manager knew how to set them up this time. Sack the manager until we get it right. Remember that statement? Yeah, and I think that's... I think that is, and I said it at the time, and I'll say it again, I think that is a recipe for disaster. These people look at Chelsea, and they don't understand. They don't understand we don't got the fucking money to do that. We can't sack it until... If we had unlimited money, maybe that works. Maybe you can do that, because you can afford to do that shit, and you can afford to keep bringing in players for whoever you're bringing in after you're sacking them. But in our situation, we can't do that. And this is why I say these people don't live in reality. They live in a fantasy because they want things to happen that's not going to happen. They want things to go in a certain way that is impossible of happening. Like, I would like that too. Like, not to sack every fucking manager, but what I'm saying is, I would like United to go spend 600 million. Are we going to fucking do it? No, we're not going to do it because we can't. So, well, I'm going to sit here and say we should be spending 600 million and we should be sacking the manager every chance we get until we get it right. It's like, no, that's stupid. That's dumb. That's going to cause more problems. How about we fix our fucking problems first? How about we fix it before we start creating more? And we don't do that. We don't, no. What we do is we pretend like we're going to fix problems, and then we create new problems. And then we create even bigger problems, and we don't fix nothing, and we just keep causing more problems at the football club. Beat Brighton convincingly too. Well, listen, we had a little bit of a slip up, but we still managed to get the 3 points, and we scored 4 goals, and it was a good performance for the most part. Man United Planet says we was third for most goals scored with Ruben. We had the goals, just a bad defense and a leaky midfield, and I'll finish the comment. Leaky midfield. Now all the players look lost all over again. What an obvious mistake firing Amorim was. And here's the thing. These people, they get mad because we're saying these things. Man United Planet, right? These people get mad at us because they were Ruben out, because they hated Ruben, and they see it as us defending the shit results that happened under him, right? Which we never did. We never excused it. We never excused those, okay? We came here, we called it out. We said it's not good enough. We said we need to be better. We never excused those things. We didn't hide it, okay? But the thing is, they get angry at you saying things like this, right? Because it's quite clear, and I love the first part, Man United Planet. I love the first part because I think it's when you deep it, it shows exactly what we was third for most goals scored. I don't know about most goals scored, but definitely chances created. I think you meant chances created, but I could be wrong. You could be right. I don't know. But then you go on to say we had the goals or whatever, just a bad defense and a leaky midfield. Well, let's put that into perspective for a second, okay? What did we do in the summer? Did we not go and revamp the attack? Did we not go and buy 3 brand new players for the attack? And this season, the attack is better than last season, and the attack is better than in previous seasons. And our attack has been shit for a long time, okay? And what did we not do? We didn't get anybody in the midfield, and we didn't get anybody in the defense. So you're telling me that the 2 positions general positions on the pitch that we did not go and buy players for, that we did not invest in, that we did not replace players and get new players in. You're telling me that those are the two main positions that were the most shit compared to the other one. That's interesting. It's very interesting. It's almost like, we needed to continue to do what we did in the first place with the attack. We needed to do it with the midfield, and we needed to do it with the defense. But these people in charge of our football club said, nah, we don't need anybody in January. We'll do it in the summer. Ray says, we keep firing manager mid-season. It's a joke. Ineos, the biggest joke of the club. The whole club is a joke. The whole club is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Rebuild FC. Yeah, and that's what it is, Lyle. I mean, that's what we are. We are Rebuild FC. We are absolute clowns. Clowns. And we're not even talking about the match, because how can you talk about the match? I mean, how can you actually talk about the match in this circumstance? You know, for me, I can't. I have a hard time because my head just goes directly to the situation that this football club is in. And I'm like, how can I talk about the match when the match went the way the match went because of the way we're being run? Which is the argument I've been making for a fucking year and a half now, of the manager doesn't matter. The formation doesn't fucking matter. None of it matters if these people run the football club the way that they're running the football club. It doesn't matter. These people want to tell me Ancelotti and Tuchel and fucking Nagelsmann. It doesn't matter. You don't think that they're going to fuck him over? You don't think that they're going to make mistakes and the manager is going to suffer for it? You know, and then I get gaslit into thinking I'm fucking crazy and I don't know what I'm talking about. But then it gets to a point where it goes, no, hold on. I was actually on the money. It was actually on the money. And I don't like to sit here and say, I told people so, and I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to back myself because the things I was saying, I believed in, and people disagreed with me. And I start, self-doubting myself. And I go, well, maybe they're right and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking, I'm not looking at it correctly. Lyle says, honestly, I really thought Amorim was on the verge of results falling his way. But there was the possibility, Lyle, because, again, I think we were on the line. It was bad, but there was some good ones. It could have went either way. We scored goals but conceded too many. The problems were heavily exposed at the time. We needed to fix it, but no. We need to fix it by investment. And, that's the only way we're going to fix it. That's the only way we're going to get out of this situation. But we have people in charge of the football club that don't want to spend money. They want to do a project that's half-assed, okay? I keep saying this. People don't like it because they want to be traditional about football. Traditional about football is gone. You have to spend money. You have to spend money. The only way we're going to get out of this is to spend money. Because everybody else is spending money. Villa just signed a player, and they're going to sign another player in January. What are we doing? We're doing nothing because now we sacked the manager, and we can't send players out, and we can't get players in because we're going to get an interim. And then when the interim comes, they're going to be like, well, we can't get players in, and we can't fully sell them because we're going to hire a permanent manager in the summer. So we can't actually do anything because we have to wait for the manager. Meanwhile, you have Wilcox going to the manager, telling him what to play and who to play and how he should play. So they're trying to make decisions over the manager's head. Then they're going to come out in public and tell us, well, we can't fully make decisions because we don't have a manager. Bullshit, you just did it with the guy that was here. You just tried to do it with the guy that was here. Now you're going to come out and tell us, well, we can't actually permanently buy anybody because we don't know who the manager is going to be until the summer, and we can't make any permanent signings. Meanwhile, you tried to make him play a fullback. You tried to force it upon him. There's something about the team shape which explains so many leaked goals. Delot, 1 Delot, 2 midfield open without the ball. Lyle says Woodward, Murtaugh set the perfect example of what not to do. Easiest thing to do is the opposite of those idiots, not to follow the lead. Well, I think it's a problem because I think clearly there's something going on in that the club is not really, it's a facade. These guys, they own the footballing operations. I don't even believe that anymore. They might just be the face of it. You know, how much of the decisions is really down to them? Because it seems like, how can you possibly have brand new people? And like you're saying, Lai, how can you have brand new people that are, listen, they're totally different people, right? They have different backgrounds. And how can you be doing the same thing? I feel like Ed Woodward is still in charge of the club. I feel like Richard Arnold is still here. How can that possibly be? How can that be when you have these guys are totally different people, but we're seeing the same scenarios play out? How can it be? And the only thing that my brain leads me to is, well, the fucking Glazers are still here, and they're the only common factor. They were here before, they're here now. So, Ray says our club in the last 10 years became make basic players kings and throw other players under the bus. Yep, it's all about favoritism. And it's partly due to the fans as well. Less game, less money for the Glazers. Not true. Not true. Not true. It doesn't seem to work that way. What that is less games, less money, not for the Glazers, but for us to spend money on transfers. Because ultimately, the Glazers won't suffer. The Glazers keep making money because the value of the club keeps going up. Look at the value of the club a couple years ago. It was only $3 billion. Okay, now it's $4.6 billion. So the Glazers are making money. The Glazers are making money. What happens is United get fucked. We get fucked. The fans get fucked. Because the Glazers are not going to make less money. They're going to make the same money or more. What's going to happen is they're going to be like, well, we can only spend $150 million in the summer now instead of $250 million. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to lose any money. You think that they're going to lose money? They're going to take the money from somewhere else. They're going to get the money from some other place because that's what business people do. And they're going to make another sector or another section suffer. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay? They're not making less money. The club is making less money and the club's going to spend less money on players, but they don't give a fuck about that. They don't care. They're cruising down fucking Comfort Street at this football club because they own it. And we haven't won a Premier League title for 12 years, and we haven't won a Champions League. When was it? In 2008. So, however long that is. And yet, the thing that they own is going up in value. They're making money. They don't give a fuck. They could fucking care less. We're the ones that are going to suffer because our team is going to get less investment in it, and we're going to continue to be more shit, and we're going to have to go through more shit seasons. That's what's going to happen. The club have no money after this season. Well, again, you can get money in. You can do things to get money in. You can if that's what you want. If that's your goal. Is that, if you say, listen, we need money because we need to compete and we need to keep up. And so we need to invest. If that's your goal, but if that's not your goal, if your goal is to spend minimum amount of money so that you can get to your fucking new stadium built, all right? And then get more money out of that when that happens, well, then yeah, we're going to have less money. Andresito says the club isn't being ran well and the problems start at the top. I agree, but the majority of the team has no chemistry, no idea, no attacking mindset. Most teams without the big names have all of the above. And yeah, and that's part of the bad running of the football club. It's the bad running of the football club. It's the point of not, listen, this football club needs a real, actual project that is going to take 3 to 4 years. I'm not having it about this fucking somebody's gonna come in and they're gonna do a job in 2 years. It's not going to happen. We ain't there anymore. We have fell fucking even further. People want to act like we're still with Mourinho, where we should be finishing at guaranteed top 4. We're not there anymore. We've gone way down. The only way this football club comes back is the people in charge come up with a plan and follow through with the plan and take the time to go through the plan and understand that in the first season, the second season, and even maybe the third season, it's going to be sometimes good and then sometimes very shit. And you have to fucking stick through it. Not, oh, it's got to be better, it's got to be better. You know, this is my fucking thing. Like, was the first part of the 1 year shit? Yeah, we finished in 15th and we lost a Europa League final to fucking Tottenham. Okay? Of course it was a disgrace. But this season wasn't last season. And next season, if he stayed, which he should have, and if he got into Europe, then he goes into next season, and then you say next season's got to be better than last season, and it can't go backwards from there. If it doesn't go backwards, there's no reason to sack him. There's no reason to quit on the project. There's no reason to quit on the progress. But this is where the fan base gets lost, because the fan base, the people that hated Ruben, the people that wanted him sacked, are celebrating because he got sacked. But their reasoning is he deserved to get sacked for the results. And this is the problem we have, because he didn't get sacked because of the results. He got sacked because they tried to make him do something that they never agreed on, and they tried to step on his toes about it and fucking belittle him as a manager, and he said, fuck you. And so when he said, fuck you, they sacked him. That's why they sacked him. Okay? That is poor running of a football club. For you to create that situation, for you to manifest that situation, where the manager then ends up doing that, where he gets himself sacked by defaulto facto, okay? That is because you are running this football club like fucking shit. That should have never happened. That situation should have never happened if you run the football club in a proper way. If you're not full of shit and you follow through on a proper plan. But they are fucking cowards. They are clueless. And Jason Wilcox thinks he's a fucking manager, and he's not a manager. Okay? There's a reason why you're not a manager. His own words. He said, I'm a manager at heart. Oh, are you? So then you shouldn't be a director of football. You can't be a manager at heart and be a director of football. That's a conflict of fucking interest. Okay? Because you're going to sit there and you're going to start micromanaging the fucking guy in charge. And you ain't in charge. That's not your thing to do. That's not your thing. And if it is your thing, then make it clear. Don't switch halfway through. Don't tell him he's going to have certain responsibilities and power, and then halfway through try to take it away from him. That doesn't work either. Okay? Make it clear on what the position is. If you want to be in charge of that shit, say, I'm going to set you the formation. I'm going to set you what you play. We're going to play counterattacking, and this is the job. And your job is to coach them. Okay, so then we need a coach and not a manager. Don't bring somebody in promising them a managerial role or managerial power or managerial leeway, and then halfway through say, yeah, but you know what? You're not Tuchel. You're not Mourinho. So you know what? I'm going to strip those powers away from you. You're just going to be a fucking coach. All right? You're just going to be a coach from now on. You don't run the football club like that. The fact that they tried to make that change in the middle of the season shows how incompetent and stupid these people are. You do that in the middle of the season? Why? Because you played into the hype? You listened to fucking Gary Neville? And you listened to all these ex-players and these legends of the football club talking about we got to change the formation? So now you come, because you don't know what you're doing, and you come to the current manager and you tell him, yeah, we should play a 4-back. Why? Why all of a sudden now you decide you want to play a 4-back? Why? Because Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes are fucking hammering you? They're hammering the football club saying we should be playing a 4-back? You know, he didn't come up with that idea himself. That's why Ruben said in the press conference, and he said, if you listen to the Gary Nevilles, he said we need to change the club. Because he's fucking right, because that's what happened. They listened to the outside pressure, they panicked, and they said, all right, we have to change course. They don't have balls. These people, you want to talk about balls. People want to talk to me about the manager doesn't have balls. No. These guys don't have balls. These guys running the football club don't have balls. Not the fucking manager. Ruben had balls because he wanted to play his way and he said, fuck you and fuck everybody else that says otherwise, okay? That takes balls, all right? It takes balls when your boss is forcing you to play a fullback and you continue to play your fucking 3-back in your system. They don't have balls. Wilcox doesn't have balls. Barada doesn't have balls. And Sajim doesn't have balls. Those are the guys that don't have balls because they got the outside pressure. Because Gary Neville and Scholes and whoever else is telling them, we're not playing the United way. We need to play a fullback. The system is shit. And then what do? They go to the manager and they tell him, yeah, you should play a fullback because it's going to be better. Oh, really? Have you been analyzing that the whole time you were here? Because that wasn't your plan. If you believed that the fullback is the way, why the fuck did you hire Ruben in the first place? You know he plays a 3-back. You know he plays his system. You know he doesn't play a fullback. So that was never in your head. That was never your idea. That was somebody else's idea that you then adopted because of pressure. Because you're trying to have a positive image in the public. You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to protect your position. You got nervous. You got cold feet. And when you get cold feet and you panic, you make fucking stupid decisions. And this is what they did. Cassius, do you think Wilcox wants to be the manager and hence sacked on Marime and getting that hint that Jim wants a back four and more adaptability? Sir Jim Ratcliffe will only get the idea. This is the problem we have at this football club, Cash. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a fucking clueless guy when it comes to football, okay? He might have and maybe I'm being generous, he might have 1% knowledge more than the Glazers, okay? This guy is a businessman his whole life. He's a billionaire. He is not like you and I and the rest of us. He doesn't take the time to watch sports. He tells us he's a lifelong Manchester United fan. I know exactly what kind of fan he is. He's one of those people that tells you, yeah, I'm a fan of that club. You speak to them for 2 seconds and they tell you the most basic level shit you've ever heard of. A fucking 6-year-old can tell you the exact words that come out of their mind. And then they want to tell you, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a lifelong fan. Oh, yeah? Dude, your knowledge is the knowledge of a fucking 5-year-old when it comes to it. You are not an expert in this field. You are an expert in making money in business through chemicals and other shit like that. Okay, that's your expertise. That's where you put all your time and all your effort and all your knowledge into. Not football. Yeah, you're a lifelong fan. Why? Because you show up to a game once in a while and you fucking watch it? So, he doesn't know anything. He's got Gary Neville on his committee, okay, for the stadium. All right? He's hearing these legends of the football club talking about we need a 4-back. So Jim then goes to Omar and then goes to Wilcox and goes, we need to play a fucking 4-back. We need to play a 4-back. The system's not working. Okay, Sir Jim, where did you get that idea from? Did you think of that by yourself because you analyzed the situation, because you broke it down and you were like, no? Or was it that you heard a bunch of outside noise from people and your opinion was swayed because you don't actually know what the fuck you're talking about, and now you're going to the people that you hired and you're putting pressure on Wilcox and you're putting pressure on Barada to fucking go and implement the change because that's their job. You hired them. You are their boss. And that's how that goes. If Sir Jim comes today and goes to Wilcox and Barada and says, I want the team to play with fucking 2 defenders. And Wilcox and Barada, they don't have a spine, but they might go, but Sir Jim, that might not really, I don't give a fuck. Play a 2-back. Do it or I'm going to fucking sack you. If these guys don't have a spine, if they don't have balls, and they're going to stand up and say, I'm not doing that, Sir Jim. That's fucking stupid. I'm not going to do that. It's going to fucking ruin everything. So either listen to me or fucking sack me and get somebody else to do it. Okay? If they don't do that and they just go, yes, boss, please don't fire me. Please don't sack me. And then they go to the manager and they tell the manager, You got to play a two-back. And the manager's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I play a two-back? We're going to get slaughtered. We're going to get slaughtered if I play a two-back. You got to play a two-back. You got to play a two-back or it's your ass. Okay? Because it's coming down from the big guy. All right, when you're the manager, you're going to sit there and say, what the fuck is this bullshit? What's going on at this football club? This guy doesn't know fucking shit about football. You know, remember Sir Jim came out in the thing and he's asking Ruben and Ruben's telling him to shut the fuck up? Yeah, he's telling him to shut the fuck up because Sir Jim doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Cash says, we were 2-0 down and Fletcher brings on a centre-back and a CDM, but these pundits won't criticize Fletch, but rant on Amorim when he used to bring them on, being 1-1 or 0-0, hypocrisy at the highest level. And for those people specifically, Cash, it is hypocrisy, and we should continue to call them out, because they're full of shit. They're full of shit, they've been full of shit, and they don't actually know what they're talking about. They're not... Listen, it's one thing to be wrong. It's one thing to have an idea that you thought of yourself and be wrong, okay? Because we're all human beings and we get shit wrong. I'm going to get things wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll continue to get things wrong. And I don't have a problem with being wrong. I don't have a problem with being wrong. Society has a problem with being wrong. Okay, and they want to dictate people. I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong. And if you want to judge me because I'm wrong, good for you. Go ahead. I don't care. All right? But these people, they don't think for themselves. They can't formulate their own opinions or thoughts. They are afraid to go against the majority. They are afraid to go against so-called experts. So they follow in their footsteps. And then they trick themselves into believing this belief and that they came up with it on their own, and they are just a fucking echo chamber of these people because they can't think of it on their own. And then they don't know how to analyze situation. They're full of shit. Like, the opinion is not real. It's not a genuine opinion. So when things like this happen, and I will say this, I know that point that you bring up, Cash, and I was going to say the same thing. My problem is, because I actually analyze, and I'm not full of shit, all right? And I'm fucking real, okay? In fairness, Maguire needs fucking minutes, yeah? It's not the change you want. It's not necessarily the change that you do, but I can understand if Maguire comes on, because Maguire needs fucking minutes, and we need to think about the next game as well and going forward. But yeah, these same people, like, if Ruben did that, everybody was just like, oh, he's defensive and he doesn't get the football club. And I'm just like, but maybe he needed to do it because maybe the guy needed to come on and get minutes. Maybe the other guy couldn't stay on the fucking... But no, we can't say, oh, but maybe the guy on the pitch that plays defense, maybe he couldn't play more than a certain amount of time, or maybe that guy needed minutes. No. He's defensive, he's negative, he fucking doesn't get the football club. Well, what about now? What about now? Because if I was such a dickhead, I would do the same thing. And I would say, well, Darren Fletcher doesn't get the football club. He's negative. He doesn't fucking understand. He's putting on a centre-back. I could do the same shit that they could do, but I'm not going to do it because I think it's stupid. I thought it was stupid at the time, and I think it would be stupid to do it now. There are, like, these people think they are fucking geniuses. You have never managed, I think most of them have never kicked a ball in their fucking life. And then you want to be an expert on the sport, and you want to tell me you know more than the fucking manager? You're not in the position to analyze more than the manager. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Maybe they tell him, bro, the guy can't play more than 55 minutes. At 55 minutes, you're going to have to sub him out. Does he want to make that change? No, but he fucking has to. The hierarchy, they have no balls. The bunch of jokers, they can't handle pressure from the fans. Pressure from the fans, pressure from ex-legends, the media, because they are trying to appease people. They are trying to, again, the point and the goal, their real goal, their real project is to make something that is decently good enough that they can string us on along, okay? Because the Glazers, they really ran out of time. to do that, yeah? And the Glazers had no more play. You bring in Ineos, you bring in new people, okay? You give a different perspective. You get more time out of it. You start saying, we're going to change things. It's going to be different. We're making all these changes. That's how you buy more time to string the fan base along. That's how you buy more time so you could get to your new fucking stadium. That's their real project. Okay, their real project is buy more time so we can build a new stadium so that we can all make money out of it. Okay, and I wished and I hoped and I prayed that that wasn't the case. And I hoped and I wished and I prayed that, you know what, maybe these guys actually want to make a name for themselves. Maybe it's not all about money. Maybe they actually would care enough to be the people that would bring Manchester United back to a certain level, and that would make them proud and they would be known for that. But it is increasingly, as we move along the path, it is increasingly more obvious that the project on the football side is full of shit and that it is leaning more towards 100% all about fucking money. It's all about money. Because listen, I'm not an unreasonable guy. I understand that money is important in the world and nobody does anything for fucking free in this world, okay? So there's got to be a bonus to make money as well. And I get that, but there's got to be a balance. And as we're moving along, the balance, the tipping of the scales is increasingly like money and then football, which is what we already had before anyway. So it's all bullshit. It's all a ploy. It's all fake. It's all fake. All of it is fake. It's all about the stadium. It's all about the money that you can make from the stadium. It's all about the potential of getting that fucking 8 to 10 billion for the club. That is their ultimate goal. Okay? The Glazers are American. They know American sports. They look at the American franchises. Look at the American teams. Look at what they go for. The Lakers just sold for 10 billion. You don't think as the Glazers, okay? And the fans would make the same argument. You don't think that Manchester United is a bigger institution? You don't think it's a bigger brand around the world than the Lakers? Listen, the Lakers are pretty big, but football is the bigger sport. Is it not? Football is a worldwide game. It's way bigger than basketball. Okay? The Lakers got sold for 10 billion. You don't think the Glazers are sitting there and say, well, we have a team that has more fans, is more popular, in a more popular sport and more recognized around the world. And you want us to sell it for 5 when they just sold it for 10? I wouldn't be surprised if they ask for 20. Because really, if the Lakers are going for 10, United should be like fucking 10 at the minimum. 15, 20? That's why they're still here. That's why they won't go. Because they're looking at the other sports teams. They're looking at the American sports teams and they're saying, we're not selling it for 5. These guys they were 10 and we got something way bigger than them. Way bigger. Tomorrow, we will know about Ferguson influence when they do the broadcast tomorrow. Well, I would love to... listen, they were on TV. I would love for Scholes, and I would love for whoever else was there, next or near to Fergie, to be asked what they talked to him about, and I would love to hear what they got to say, because I would find it interesting. Lyle says Sir Jim Ratcliffe had the bright idea of playing Mbeumo at right wing back. LOL. The fuck? I mean, I don't know. I'll get into a couple things because I'm sure we got news coming out, and I haven't checked. I'm sure we got news, and we're gonna combine 2 shows. Okay, we're gonna combine 2 shows. Johnny Hill says we just know that they will announce the interim tomorrow, and I love how you said that, Johnny, because you weren't here, and I literally said it 40 minutes ago. Okay, so. But Johnny said, we just know they will announce the interim tomorrow, too, to try and hide away from the deserved negativity that they have caused. And absolutely, anybody that is paying attention, anybody that is tuned in to the situation, anybody that is living in a fucking reality and has 2 eyes and half a brain, knows that you know for a fact that tomorrow we're going to get an announcement, and it's going to either be Ollie or it's going to be Carrick, and it doesn't even fucking really matter too much, But you just know that the announcement of the interim. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys are so spineless and they've pissed themselves that they fucking announce it tonight. But I wouldn't bet on it, and it would most likely be tomorrow because it's a Monday, start of the new week, and you know, they tend to do these things not the day of, they'll do it the day after. All right? But you know that it's coming Monday or Tuesday, and it was going to come anyway, but you know that they're going to fucking push to rush this because they need something. They need something to deflect, distract. They need something to take away because now everybody's going to go after them. And this was my whole argument. This is why I kept saying, like, I'm not excusing Ruben, but why you want to fucking go for that guy's head when it's their fault, when they are the bad ones, when they are the biggest problem, when the things around and above the manager are the ones that are going to dictate how the manager does at this football club. Managers, whoever it is, they're going to come in. They're not going to pick your favorite players. They're going to get calls wrong for the matches. They're going to set teams up badly. They're going to get shit results. It is a part of the fucking game. None of them are perfect. None of them ever will be. If the structure around that guy is not good enough, they will never succeed. Never succeed. And that's where I agree with Nicky Butt, where he's like, go get fucking Prime Fergie. He ain't going to do nothing because the rest of it is shit. You know, he called it a shit show. It is a shit show. It's been a shit show. And I'm tired of doing this thing with the manager. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the fans locking in on the manager. And I know why they do it. Because the fans feel helpless. And the fans feel hopeless. And the fans feel like they have no power. And the only power that the fans actually have is to get angry at a manager, blame it all on him, and then get him sacked. That's why they do it. That's why they do it, because the only change that the fans know that they have is after a certain period of time, if you pile it on the manager, you can force the board or you can force the people to change the manager. But we're not fixing anything. We're not actually fixing anything. We're not actually assessing or addressing the real problems that lead to the manager to being in a shit position of the football club. Cash says it's ridiculous. Guess the protest needs to start with the City game. I'm done with this board and soon the club. 23 years of supporting makes me believe next season would be better, but it gets worse. It's going to keep getting worse until the change comes, Cash. You know, I'm with you, bro. I'm 31, man. I would say take 5 years off. That's how long I've been supporting the club, because I mean, under 5 years, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But you know, Johnny says it's mad as well, the amount of people online that are blaming Kobe Mainoo for us losing, even though he was decent. But then, listen, the people that are blaming Kobe Mainoo are the stupid fucking Amarim inners, okay? All right? These are, they are the one of the same people, all right? You have the Amarim outers, the ones that can't be objective, the ones that can't be fair, the ones that just want to put all the blame on Ruben. Okay, you have the flip side and the inverse of that, and these are the people that they were loyal to Ruben no matter fucking what. They couldn't criticize him. Bro walked on water. Okay, I don't think he should have gotten sacked. I wanted him to go into the end of the season. I never said he was perfect, and I never said that he wasn't wrong for anything. Okay, it's called being a fucking actual human being. It's called being a real person and not being a fucking bot. Okay, these people are bots. They can't think for themselves. They go along with whatever the majority or whatever is the most popular because they want to be right. They want to be cool. They want to be, accepted. They want people to think that they're geniuses and that they want to be listened to, okay? They can't formulate anything of their own. The people attacking Kobe are the people that lived up Ruben's ass no matter what, because obviously, Ruben didn't play Kobe, all right? He didn't start him, and now that Ruben is gone, they feel aggrieved, so now they're going to attack Kobe, which is fucking wrong. It is wrong, okay? It is totally wrong, and if you're doing that, I will call you the fuck out for stupidness, okay? It has nothing, it's not Kobe's fault. It has nothing to do with Kobe Mainoo. Ruben getting sacked and Ruben not being here, and now we're fucking shit, has nothing to do with Kobe. There's no reason to attack Kobe. There's no reason to attack him. You can criticize the performance and say it wasn't good enough, but to go attack him and now pin it all on him, why? Because people were pinning it all on your manager. It's you're no better than those fucking idiots. It's stupid. It is stupid. And they are the same people, opposite but the same. You know, opposite but the same. Delo was bad, Mainu was bad. Listen, and it's fine. Bro, it's okay to say, like, they didn't have a good game. But to go, like, the extra step and start... Listen, if you're sitting here and you're spending, like, fucking an hour today talking about only Kobe Mainu, you have a problem. You have an issue. You know what I mean? If there's somebody came out of the game today from the result and the performance... and you were spending 2 to 3 hours of your time talking about only fucking Kobe Mainu or only Delo, you have a problem. You have an issue. Like, you really have, like, some sort of issue. Because there are bigger problems. That's a small... Kobe had a bad game. Okay, he had a bad game. Let's fucking move on. We got shit on fire. On fire at this football club. It's bigger than Kobe Mainu having a fucking bad game. It's bigger than Ruben was right. I told you so. Kobe's not good enough. It's bigger than that. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? Like, Delo had a bad game. Do you think I can sit here and spend 30 minutes talking about Delo playing like shit today? When I'm watching fucking everything burn around us? It's, to me, that's nonsense. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, yeah, I get it. Okay, he was shit. The player was bad today. But how much time you gonna spend on it? It's a minute fucking thing in the grand scheme of what we're seeing going on at this football club. They are banking all their hopes on that stadium. They don't care about the football side because they know they will make enough money just to get by. They ain't even paying for the stadium too. Listen, I don't even think that they're banking all their hopes on it. I think they have a structured, well thought out plan, Johnny. These people are experts at money making, okay? They are experts at it. I think that they know exactly what they're doing. I think that they have calculated that it doesn't matter what happens with the football too much. They are guaranteed to make us X amount of money. So they're locked in. They're locked in. I think they already know, like, everything is projected. They know exactly what money they're going to make. They know exactly what they're going, brand deals and shit like that they'll be able to do after. They have a certain projection of how much money they're going to make and how much the club value will go be in. They're locked in. They're good. They're good on that side. So if you only care about the money and you're locked in, the football doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Why does it matter? What does it matter? And you play the game and you go, oh, well, it's important that we get into Champions League because, that's where we belong and, we'll have more money. Who has more money? It's not like they take the money from the Champions League and they put it into their bank account. They're getting the money elsewhere. The only one that suffers is the actual team. When they say we'll have more money, the Glazers don't give a fuck about the Champions League money because it doesn't go to their pocket anyway. They use it to run the football club. And so what they say is, oh well, we can't spend 200 million. Oh well, too bad. Okay, but that doesn't stop them from making their money. They're still making their money. There needs to be a federal investigation into the government too, because there's laws being broken when a business is being bought on loans and never paid back in the government. Well, the thing is that I think the loophole is that when they bought it and when they did that, there was no laws on that, Johnny Hill. So I don't know how that plays out when you then implement laws after. It's already done after the fact. So I don't know if that applies. And I don't think it does, because I think if it does, I think that they would probably be getting fucked over by it right now. And it just seems like they just seem to be able to get away with everything, and nobody, there is no intervention. There is nothing to look at. It seems like they are legally, and listen, they got tons of money. They got probably some of the best lawyers, and they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They seem to be legally perfect. They don't seem to be worried about breaking any laws where they're going to lose their whole shit. And I think it's because they got it down to a T. By the way, when I say Mainu was decent, my rating for him was a 6, which is still average. Yeah, it's average, but that shows how bad the rest was. I mean, yeah, there was some guys out there today, average. I think it was largely an average performance. There was some players that was shit, but overall, I think the team was, like a 5, which is below average. And if you had a 5 and the opposition plays at a 6.5 or a 7, well, you're going to lose the match, right? Because they're better than you. They don't have to be a lot better than you, but they were better than you. And they were better than us. Brighton were better than us. They were better than us, and that's why we lost the match. So, yeah, like Lyle said, different time when that sale went through, rules ever since have changed based off that. They have changed, and I don't think when they do the new rules, I don't think you can then like go to it and say, well, it doesn't fit with the rules now. I don't think it works like that, because legally they're like, listen, you can't do that to us. We followed with whatever laws you had, and that's how it is. You can't now just pass a new law and force us to do that, because that's kind of bad for business as well, in general. Because then it's like, well, the government can come in at any time, pass a law, and fuck up your entire business. So they don't tend to do that. They just say, from this point going forward, you can no longer do those things. If it was done before, it has to just be grandfathered in, which is, I think, what happened. So, which is unfortunate for us. So, Maino is pretty much, Reynoso says, Maino is pretty much a good co-pilot anyway. He keeps possession and moves around, but he isn't a presence defensively and doesn't have a lot of creativity. But listen, for Maino again, I mean, listen, he was injured. He just came back from injury. He hasn't played a lot. And I think always with a footballer, that might be the case for Reynoso. But I also think for a footballer, especially at his age, I just think like things can change. Like that might be true for now. It could be temporary. I think if you play a bunch of matches, maybe it'll be different. Maybe it'll be the same. But I don't think it's like, I don't like to label players necessarily like that, because, and especially how at his age, because it's just like things can change. He can be like that for now. He can be like that for the rest of the season. And then in a year's time, he could be totally different. And that's why I don't believe on like labeling certain players that hard at a certain age, because I'm just like, well, it's about development and it's about growing, and they're going to have issues. They don't have the complete game. He might be stifled, but I don't believe in writing players off like that. I don't believe in saying like, oh, he's not creative and he's not a presence, and that's it, and close the story. It could be true for now, and, I'll accept it, but I'll just be like, well, he has to fucking work to not be like that. And, I'll give him time to do it, because he's a young guy. And I think that's how football goes. Like, you might be that way at 20 years of age. At 22 years of age, you may no longer be like that. But I disagree with when people say, well, he ain't fucking good, or he's not this, and that's it, just sell him, just, he's shit. And it's just like, dude, you're writing off a fucking 20-year-old? Why? Because he's not a fucking baller he's not world class at 20? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, he could be world class at 24. He's fucking 20. It's football. That's how it goes. You don't have to be a baller at 20, bro. There's players that they get to 27 and they become the best fucking player one of the best players in the world in their position. Okay, but at 23, they were fucking nothing. It's just football. Like, that's just what the sport is, man. Like, brilliantly summed up, bro. And these pundits and ex-legends just do that to instigate fans and work for the board. We are too divided and have no voice. Well, they do it because, I mean, look at where some of them work. I mean, some of them are on Sky Sports. Sky Sports is its own institution. Sky Sports has no fucking loyalty to Manchester United. Sky Sports uses Manchester United so that they stay alive, okay? Sky Sports uses the controversy of Manchester United. Why do you think we have so many ex-players and legends from Manchester United at Sky Sports? Because we are massive. Our name is massive, and our attention that we bring is massive. There's a reason why there's so many of our ex... Look at the fucking ratio. Look at the ratio of ex-players, ex-Manchester United players, compared to ex-players of other football clubs. There's a reason why there's way more of us than there is from the others. Because we garner the most attention. And they need attention. They need people to watch. They need controversy. They need, you know... What's more soap opera box office than United having shit results and having legends like fucking Roy Keane or Gary Neville or Scholes or whoever it is go on live television and fucking criticize the manager or criticize the players or, you know, whatever it is. And basically crashing out and saying the system is shit, the system needs to... What's more soap opera entertainment than that? What's more drama entertainment than that? You're not going to get it. That's what it is. So, and listen, the ex-players and the legends, they need a job. You know, they need a job. So it's like a self-fulfilling fucking monster machine of a system that destroys our football club because they still need to work. They need a job. And, you know, they're not going to manage because they're not good at managing. So what they do, I mean, it's easy. Go on TV and talk shit. Anybody can go on TV and talk shit. Okay? It's like the easiest thing you can do in life, pretty much. Because it's just like, it's like a thing of being a human being. You can get anybody and have them, just tell them, yeah, talk shit. Okay. How hard is it? You don't have to be a genius to talk shit. You know, any human being can do it on any level. So, Wilcox reportedly told the players that it has been a disappointing season under Amorim, but with nearly half the campaign yet to go, the Red Devils chief retains high hopes that they can qualify for Champions League. He's a fucking idiot. Listen, I was telling my father about... I was talking to my father about this, and I was saying, this is the first time, okay? Look at all the managers we had. All right? When Moyes came in, they didn't like Moyes. Moyes was sacked. They were happy Moyes was sacked. All right? Then we got LVG in. When LVG got sacked, they didn't like how they were playing. They were happy LVG sacked. Yeah? They got Mourinho in. And at the end, they were fucking all so happy that Mourinho got sacked. They hated Mourinho. The large majority of them, okay? They celebrated Mourinho getting sacked. When Oli came in, they did the same at the end, okay? They gave up on Oli. They didn't buy into it. They didn't like it anymore. And they were like, they didn't do what they did to Mourinho because Ali is a nice guy and he's a legend of the football club. So they didn't celebrate it as much, but they were relieved. You know, they were relieved. They got excited that, okay, this thing with Solskjaer isn't going to happen anymore. We're going to get something different. They hated Ranić after fucking 30 minutes. And then they did the same thing to Ten Hag. This was the first time where you can unequivocally say that it was reported. It has never been reported, ever, that the majority of the players were sad that the manager got sacked, that the players the players did not give up on Ruben. Okay, because we've gotten lines where they come out and they're like, oh, it's sad to see you go. But it's like, bro, you guys were walking and not trying for fucking 7 games in a row. So don't give us that bullshit, okay? No. They didn't quit on him. They didn't give up on him. They didn't hate him. And he got sacked. They are genuinely upset. They are genuinely dismayed by the direction that this has gone. And people like Bruno and people like Delo and probably people even like Harry Maguire who have seen this story fucking 4 times already are, bro, their concept, their vision of the path that this club has taken is just like, how can you not be disillusioned? How can you not be demoralized when you're seeing the same thing happen for the 3rd fucking consecutive time, for the 4th time, where the club is breaking their promise, where the club is not backing the manager, where you feel like the club is not going in the direction? How can you show up to work and be like, let's go? You know, how can you be energized? Because I look at those 3 specific players in general, and I think they feel like how I feel and how some of you feel, where they're just like, Dude, we've done this already like 3 or 4 times. You guys are shit at your job. You run it like shit. And then you've sacked the manager. And now we're just fucking floating in outer space. And we don't know what we're doing or where we're going or how we're going to do it. And it's like, how many times are we going to do this? I'm tired of chopping and changing. We never stick to a plan. We never actually do a fucking rebuild. At the first signs of problems or, worries, we tuck our tail in between our legs, we cut and run loose, and we fucking go into hiding. And it's like, bro, I'm tired of this. Like, we're not actually making real progress. What the fuck am I doing here? I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my career here. I feel like a fucking hamster running on a wheel, not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We think we're pretending like we're going somewhere because we're moving and we're running, but you're not actually going anywhere. You're on a fucking wheel doing nothing. So those guys, like, I can understand. Then you have people like Ahmad. Okay, Ahmad put out a fucking 3-paragraph post about how he was fucking upset that Ruben is gone because he actually genuinely liked Ruben. And you have people telling me that he shouldn't be playing right wing back because that's not his position and he doesn't want to play there. Bro, the guy is fucking upset that he loved playing for him. And he showed it. And this is what I was saying. Like, bro, he was ready to play that right wing back position for that manager for the benefit of the team. And he played it with fucking heart, okay? And intensity. Because he is a team player. And those are the players that we need at this club to succeed. And he sacked the manager. You don't think he's at fucking AFCON. You don't think he's pissed and upset. And Buemo came here. He got signed for Ruben. You don't think he's upset. Cunha came because he wanted to play for United and he believed in whatever Ruben told him when he sat down with Ruben and talked to him. You don't think he's upset. Sesko is the fucking same. You don't think Sesko's upset. Bruno is definitely upset. Delo is upset. Okay? Euro is upset because he's getting games under Ruben. And he was given an opportunity by Ruben. The majority of the squad are not happy that this guy was sacked. Okay? And for the first time, I might say that, you know what, maybe they owned up a bit of a responsibility. The first time I can actually say, and they were like, it's not all the manager's fault. We're just playing like shit. We are shit. Like, and we need to do better. And they actually owned up to the responsibility of themselves on the pitch. And they didn't just throw it all on the manager, unlike some of our fan base was doing, and pinning it all on the manager. And they were actually like, you know what? Listen, we don't know about this system, but listen, we're out here, we're fucking doing things we shouldn't be doing. We had shit games, man. We had shit performances. You know, it's on us as well. There was a bit of cohesion. There was a bit sort of Ruben was sort of making it's us against the world. It's a fucking siege mentality. Everybody hates us. Everybody wants us to fail. We got to stick together. Yeah, we've been through periods where it's fucking shit and it's a disaster. You lose to fucking Grimsby. You get knocked out of the... Okay, but we're together. We're together. We're shit, but we'll stick together through it. We're all shit. If we're shit, we're all shit. And when we play good, we're all good. Okay, and now we've thrown that out the fucking window. All right? And those were one of my beliefs that I had, that you need to have that sort of mentality. And that's what I was looking at. That's what I was looking at in the base of the foundation of the project. Siege mentality. We need warriors. We need a team that fucking sticks together. Not a team that panics and shits itself and starts pointing the fingers at everybody else and doesn't accept a responsibility. That's what he was trying to instill. But to instill that, well, we don't have that. That takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort. And he can't do it by himself. He needs the people up there to fucking help him. And those people turn their back on him. They turn their back on him. They turn their back on that aspect of the project. They threw it out the window. And that's why I'm fucking pissed. That's why I'm disillusioned. That's why I can't be excited. I can't be happy about any of this. Because I'm just like... there was a path that we needed to take to actually try and build something. And I always said, maybe it doesn't succeed. Maybe it doesn't work. But you have to go to the path to see if it does. And if you tell me we're not going to go and see it, we're not even going to attempt to see if it can fucking work, then what are we doing? then what are we doing? Then this isn't real. This is fake. This is bullshit. And we're not going to actually accomplish anything. We're not actually going to do what we need to do. We're not actually going to get back to where we need to get back, are we? Because it's all a facade, man. It's all a facade. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Wilcox has spoken with the players in the wake of Omri's departure, says Cash, and in quotation marks says he's explained that the season has had some disappointments so far, but urged the players to come together. And this is where he is a fucking idiot. The players were together. The players were together. The players were together with the manager. Now listen, you might say Kobe. Well, listen, in any team, in every team, there is a winner and there is a loser. And you are not going to have 100% of people behind you. And some people are going to lose. The players that don't play, the players that are not preferred, the players that are not picked, they're obviously going to have a gripe with the manager. It happens at every fucking football club. At every football club. It's real life, bro. It happens at every football club with every manager. There are players there that they're not going to be buddy-buddy with the fucking manager because he's not picking him. That's real life. Tough shit. It happens. But the majority of the squad was not unhappy with him. Okay, Kobe was unhappy with him because he wanted to play and he's not getting opportunities he feels like. That's one fucking guy. There might have been like one or two other players. Maybe like a Xerxes. So, because Kobe and Xerxes, now everybody else hates him? That's not the case. It never was the case. And that's why Wilcox is an idiot. He's coming to the players telling them you gotta be together and that it's disappointing. It's disappointing. The players were already together. They didn't quit on him. They didn't down tools. They were together. The team was fucking together. And you're going to come to them and tell them that it's been disappointing, but you need to stick together? They were already together. Ruben fucking did that, you dumbass. You are a dumbass. This guy is a Jesus. I almost said the word that might offend some people, and I don't want to offend nobody, so I stopped myself from saying it. So, but even though I know Wilcox has been awful, I believe Ineos as a whole entity has been terrible. And no, and they are, and that's the point that I'm trying to get across, Johnny. We can't forget that. This fan base is going to do what they just did to every fucking manager. And the point that I'm going to keep continuing to make is, it's not good enough to just go for Wilcox's head and remove him. It's not good enough to just go for Barada's head and remove him, because at the end of the day there is a man, okay, and his name is Sir Jim, and he hired Barada, and he hired Wilcox, and he hired everybody else. And then go one step further, there is a group of people or a family here called the Glazers that they bring Ineos in. They cut them in on this deal. They bring Sir Jim Ratcliffe here, and they have been making the decision at this football club for fucking like 15, 20 years now. Okay, so it's not good enough to just get rid of Wilcox. It's not good enough to just get rid of Barada. And these people are going to focus in on Wilcox till he gets sacked. And when he gets sacked, they're going to cheer like it's some sort of accomplishment. And like we're not going to go and get somebody that is just as bad as Wilcox. Like, let me explain something to you. We had Dan Ashworth, who is an actual director of football. Now, I don't even really want Dan Ashworth because he tried to fucking get us Gareth Southgate. And I think anybody that tries to get Gareth Southgate, I think is a fucking moron and is bad at their job. So I didn't even want him. But the point that I'm saying is, he was an actual director of football. Wilcox was a technical director. What the fuck did we do? What was the decision that they made? They sacked Dan Ashworth, which I don't have a problem with, because if you're trying to tell me Gareth Southgate's going to be the guy, I'd fucking sack you too. But what I wouldn't do is take our technical director and give him a promotion for no fucking reason and make him the director of football. What you do is leave the fucking technical director right where he is, because he's done nothing to earn the title of director of football. He hasn't accomplished anything to actually get the promotion of director of football, and you go hire another actual director of football. But what did they do? They made the mistake of Ashworth. They had to pay him. They made this mistake of Ten Hag. They had to pay him. oh, we're spending a lot of money. The fans are looking at this like we're making mistakes because we're getting people in and we're getting rid of them and we have to pay them. And now the amount is adding up. So what do we do? What do we do? Instead of going and actually taking more money and getting another director of football, we save money by taking Jason Wilcox and promoting him from technical director to fucking director of football, okay? Who is the fucking technical director right now? I can't even tell you. Why? Because that job as technical director has been split across two different departments. I assume Jason Wilcox is doing half of the technical director job as well. It's been formed into one job, and they probably given the other half to Pavel, who is the fucking head of recruitment. So now, instead of getting in, where is that guy? Where is the actual technical director? We've taken a position and we've split it into two to save fucking money. So now we have two guys doing two different jobs to save money, to save face. When the correct order was sack Dan Ashworth, listen, you fuck up, own it, and live up to it. That's one of the things that I can abide by. But you then don't take Jason Wilcox and make him the director of football. In what world did he deserve to be a director of football? You hired him as technical director for a fucking reason. Okay? The original appointment wasn't Jason Wilcox as director of football. It was Jason Wilcox as technical director. There's a reason for that. You don't then sack the director of football and just be like, well, now you're director of football because we don't want to go and get another director of football. There was the director of football that is at Arsenal right now, and we had the chance to go get him because he was leaving, and we could have went and go got him. And that guy's actually good at his job, and Arsenal are going to benefit from this. And what did we do? We made Jason Wilcox our director of football, and we didn't fucking get anybody. It's probably why we are seeing so much stuff coming out about Wilcox. Well, it's all the same shit. I've worked with a company that was like this. Everybody thinks they're the shit. Everybody thinks they do no wrong, and they, to their face, they're all buddy, and then they go and they fucking stab everybody in the back. Every chance that they get, they stab everybody. They throw you under the bus. If you listen, I went on a job, right, and I was new. I work in construction, okay? I was new. I was literally there for fucking 4 days, all right? I go in the job, yeah, and I'm working with this kid. He's a kid. He's like, I think he might have been younger than me or around the same age, okay? And he's in charge. Like, he's running the job. It's a small job. It's only for two people. I go in the job, and like, dude, I'm learning. I never did this aspect of the construction, and they know that because I told them and I was upfront for it. I was like, listen, I haven't really done this, so, show me the ropes and whatever. So I'm fucking doing things. And this kid, every time he gets a phone call, right, he would be next to me and he'd be like, oh, I got to take this. And he'd walk to the other side of the fucking job site. Yeah. And the first couple of times I was like, all right, whatever. But he kept doing it. And then I started thinking, I'm like, this is fucking strange. I was like, why can't this guy take a phone call in front of me? It's fucking weird. And then at one time he goes back there and I go to get a tool out of the box that we have for the tools. And he's on the opposite side, and I hear him on the phone, and he's talking about me, and he's saying, yeah, he's like, the kid is fucking up all my shit. And I wasn't really, I was doing all right. I was a little bit slow because I didn't get used to it, but I wasn't I didn't fuck shit up. I didn't make massive mistakes or anything like that. Bro, this guy is throwing me under the bus to his fucking boss because I'm the new guy, right? And he's saving his ass, and I'm nobody to him. I'm just some other fucking schmuck. So he's like, blaming everything on me. Meanwhile, he's fucking up half the shit on the job and he's not owning any responsibility. Then I knew that, so I didn't confront him about it because now I know, and I'm like that. I won't necessarily confront. I'll let you keep being a fucking snake, and be that way. And then, I eventually, they kicked me off the job at without even telling me. They just pretended like they were going to send me somewhere else, and I was gone after 2-3 days. But that meant that whole time that I was with them, this guy was fucking stabbing me in the back and throwing me under the bus. It's the same situation. It's going to be the same thing. To save their own face, to save their own ass. First they did it to Ruben, okay? That's why all the negative shit about Ruben is coming out. trying to paint him like a fucking total asshole because they're all trying to save their face and their position. They're trying to push the anger off of them now. Yeah, so they're trying to make Ruben look as bad as possible. And then if it happens to go to the next level, well, the next level is fucking Jason Wilcox because he's next in line, yeah? Because it's manager Jason Wilcox. Vivell has like nothing to do with this because he's head of recruitment. So it doesn't really have anything to do with it. After Jason Wilcox, it goes to Barada. And after Barada, it goes to Sir Jim. So if the fire comes to your front door or it's reached Jason Wilcox, yeah, well, the people above him, Barada and fucking Sir Jim, they're gonna be like, well, I don't want that fire to come to my door. Fucking throw him under the bus, start leaking shit about him and how bad he is. And that's what's happened. It's already happening. It's expected back and forth, bro. The outers will ignore mediocrity in Mano's performances. Reynoso says, and the super inners will do the opposite to counteract it. Yeah, but again, it's I just think I know it is Reynoso, but I just think it's stupid. You know what I mean? I think it's stupid. I don't buy into it. I will always call it out. I think it's nonsense. I really do. Like, I think it's a bunch of nonsense, and I think people waste their times and energy doing shit like that. And I think it's fucking counterproductive. That's why I say it's stupid. Like, because I think it's stupid, because I think it's fucking so counterproductive, and you're wasting a bunch of time and thought and energy onto something that doesn't actually even matter, and maybe that will matter later on, because I kind of look at it and I'm like, dude, when we're at the top of the world, yeah, when I was younger, 15 years old, 14 years old, 13, 12, that's how I used to act. And when I was a kid, but that's how I used to act. I'd be like, I don't like Park Ji-sung because he doesn't have flair. Why the fuck does Ferguson play Park? I hate Park. Fucking play Scholes or play Carrick or whatever. I like them way better or some shit like that. Or, if he picks like somebody to play striker and I'm like, I don't want to fucking see that guy play striker. Bro, I was 12. I was a kid. All right. And also we were in a period of time where those are the things that we can worry about. We can worry about bullshit semantic things because we're on top. There's not many other problems going on. Our biggest problem is a player is playing and we'd rather see another player playing. Those are worries that you can have when you're fucking sitting at the top and you got your feet up relaxing because then you don't have massive problems, okay? But when you have massive problems, you want to start talking about fucking the player or the system or the formation and the shit. And I'm like, yeah, but what about the running of the football club and how fucking shit is it? And what about player recruitment and all this? And people are like, well, Mano is better than Casemiro and Mano played like shit today and he's fucking, Ruben was right. And it's like, bro, what are we arguing about? The fucking club is on fire, bro. And you're worried about a guy playing good? You're worried about some one player having a shit performance? Like, look at the grand scheme of things. Look at the picture. Not just bad for business. That shit would get tied up in court. Well, yeah. And we'll see, says Reynoso, but that is who he is right now, where people want to envision something spectacular. He's had some badass moments, but it was a travesty having him ride the bench and sub in. And listen, again, to me, it's just like, that's the life of football, bro. There's very high highs, there's very low lows. And, and it has a little bit to do with life as well. Like, it could be a fucking fantastic time. It could be really shit. And you're not always going to have the best of times. You're going to have some shit times. The point is, you got to continue to try to go through it and come out the other side. It's just how it is. So, I like people like that, like Kobe Mano. Players that age, I won't write them off. I'll criticize them, or I'll say that they played like shit. But like for me, I'm like, that's sort of a temporary thing because it's like you were shit that performance. Okay, you now have there's another match coming, bro. There's another match coming. You got another opportunity to turn it around. So like, turn it around. I hope you do. And then after a certain period of time, if you keep going the way you're going and you keep doing the things you're doing, well, then, after you get a certain ample amount of time, that's it. We've given you so many chances. We've given you so many opportunities. You haven't been able to do it, or you haven't shown any sort of progression. And then that's goodbye. you know? But I'll be okay with that because it's like, dude, I gave so many opportunities. I give him more opportunities and more chances than most people usually do, and you still have failed. But at 20 years old, for what he is and how this season's gone for him, I can understand why he might not be the sharpest, he might not perform the best, and also I can understand that things can fucking change for him. You know, if he gets more game time and he plays more games, maybe he gets more confidence, maybe he starts playing way better, and then it's a different story. So I understand how that can develop as well. So I'm not like those other people. Axe is here. Says, I saw the match, but I had to take a shower. Disappointed about the game. The attitude was okay-ish. No. The tactics were bad, in my opinion. We definitely need more, and now we have completely lost the chance to play in Europe next season. Well, but this is what I was saying. This is why I didn't think it was a good idea to sack the manager in the middle of the fucking season, because the grass isn't always greener, and now we're flying in the unknown, Axe, okay? We are flying in the unknown. We have a guy here, and it's no disrespect to Fletcher, but at best, he's an under-18s manager, because that's literally all he's fucking done. That's the highest level he's gone. He's had to take over for 2 matches. I would have rather had Ruben for those 2 matches. Maybe we would have still lost, but I think we would have had a better opportunity to not fucking lose. And for the rest of the season, because if they get Solskjaer or they get Carrick, which is we're getting one of the 2, I still don't know what's going to happen. It could go good, but I think there's grounds that it could go bad. You know, it could go bad. And I'm just like, why? I didn't believe in this gamble. I didn't believe that it was a smart choice. It's a smart idea. And to compound that, they didn't sack him. Like, Axe, I know you don't like him, and you thought he was a bad manager, but we then have to understand the people that hated Ruben and thought he was incompetent and a bad manager. You have to understand that they didn't sack him because of what you're saying. They didn't sack him because of Everton. They sacked him for totally something different. So they've fucked the whole season. They fucked the whole season. They fucked our club. And we are screwed. We are screwed. And that's just how I feel right now. Now, I hope whoever it is, whether it's Solskjaer or Carrick, I don't give a fuck. I have a preference in that I would prefer to go with Carrick. But ultimately, I don't care. I hope they come in and do a good job. I hope. I don't feel confident about it. I don't feel excited about it. I feel fucking nervous. I feel scared. I feel afraid. And I feel fucking negative about it. Okay? And I'm just being real about it. That's just what it is. But I hope, genuinely I hope, because I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I've seen this story like fucking 6 times already. This is why I keep saying I'm getting off of the merry-go-round. I'm not partaking in this bullshit anymore. I'm not partaking in this. Okay? You people want to focus solely on the manager, and I keep telling you, we're not in a position to do that. We are not in a position to pin everything on the fucking manager. And I will say the same thing for the next guy, because the next guy is already fucked and he ain't even here yet. He ain't even here yet, and he is fucked, and he doesn't even know it. Okay? And even our interim is fucked. Okay? Whoever comes in, our interim is fucked. You want to know why? Because they're not going to go and get a player. We need a player. We need to do business in January. And we're not going to do it. Because they're going to give us the excuse of, well, our targets are in the summer and we don't know who's going to be the permanent manager, so we can't do business in January. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're full of shit. You are full of shit. To be honest, Al-Marine wasn't for our level, and I'm glad he's gone. But now we have to focus our criticism against the management. We take them one by one. But again, you say he isn't on our level. What is our level? Look at our level, Axe. We are exactly where we are supposed to be. What do you mean by he's not at our level? What is our level? Our level is not the level that you think it is. Our level is exactly where we are. We are exactly what we are, and we deserve to be exactly what we are because of how this football club is run, okay? So I don't look at Ruben Amorim and say, well, he's a fucking bad manager. I don't say that Ruben wasn't at our level. We are exactly where we are because our club is shit. We are run like shit. The players are shit. The recruitment was shit. Everything has been shit for 12 years. You say he's not at our level. We are at the level that we are exactly at. Because this is what we are. We've cut the wage bill. And people overlook this. And people are like, nobody talks about this. But look into it. And there is shit that backs this up. We have the 6th highest wage bill in the league. Okay? The wage bill directly correlates to our fucking position in the Premier League. And then look at the teams with the higher wage bills and look at where they're finishing. Okay? And this concept of, because we used to have the most expensive wage bill and we were shit, the fans adopted a mentality that we need to destroy the wage bill. We need to cut the wage bill. And I keep saying, these guys are using that to fucking be more greedy. We need to spend more money, not less money. We need to spend more. We need to pay more. If you're paying a certain amount of wages, we're only getting a certain level type of player. And if you're getting a certain level type of player, you're only going to be a certain level of a team. You're not going to do magic. There's no fairy dust. There's no miracle is going to happen. You're getting a certain level of player, and you're going to get a certain level type of manager, and you're going to be that certain level. There's no miracles happening. People are hoping and wishing for some fucking miracle. And this is what's going to happen right now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming in and finishing the season and having a good season, and Michael Carrick coming in and finishing the season, having a good season. This is you are wishing for a miracle. You are wishing for a miracle to happen. And I don't think that is a smart thing to do when you are in a professional sport. Why would you want to be preying on a fucking miracle instead of being a little bit more sure, have a little bit more of a foundation, a little bit more of a strong idea or a base, Because I always said, I don't think it was a good idea to sack the manager in the middle of the season because there's no guarantee, and I've seen it twice before, where we sack the manager and it goes to fucking, it's not good at that time, but it gets worse. And I think now we've rolled the dice with it, and I think the probability of it getting better is way lower than it is to get worse. I think there is a higher chance. You think this season hasn't gone well under Ruben and the way it's gone? I think there is a higher chance now that it gets worse than it is to get better. And that was my whole argument. It was never that I said Ruben is a genius and he's going to fucking win the Premier League and the Champions League. It's about the circumstances. And the circumstances is, I was like, listen, he's had some shit results, but he's got us in 6th, and we're sitting right there on the line. And he could do good and he could do bad. He's been here for a year. He has the team playing in a certain way. He has a certain idea. And I always said, you sack him, what are we going to do in the middle of the season? Who are we going to go get? Nobody had a fucking answer. They didn't even have an answer because they didn't have a plan for this. And this is where we are. So now, because we got rid of this guy, and not for performances, but because he fucking came out and spoke the truth, now we're floating in space. Now we're floating in nobody knows what the fuck is going to happen. And we've caused more uncertainty. We've upped the percentage in the probability that we're not going to finish in 4th or 5th or Champions League football, when I think we had a decently good shot at it. Because I think I could say, at the very least, maybe I'd say with Ruben there, we had a 50-50 chance. I don't think we have a 50-50 chance anymore. I don't think we have a 50-50. I think it's like 70-30 because I have no fucking clue what's going to happen. I don't know. Carrick could come in and do an absolute masterclass, or he could come in and shit the bed. And the same thing goes for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't fucking know. I have not a clue. Not a clue. Lucky says Ineos Glaze is out. Let's just call them Glinios. Our level is UCL semifinal at first, X, but it's not, bro. It is not, bro. It is not. Again, you have to separate, my friend. You do. You do. I'm not here to try and tell people what to do, but you, because it's not just you, it's other people that are like you, okay? You have to separate it, Axe. I agree. That's where it should be, my friend. I agree. And that's what I want it to be. But you have to be real, bro. We are nowhere fucking near that. Nowhere near that. And we're not going to be near that in 1 to 2 seasons. Not with the way we're run, not with the way we make decisions, not with the people we have at our football club. So no manager is going to come in, get us Champions League football, and be UCL semifinal at worst. Nobody is going to do that. So this is why I don't want to hear about the manager. I don't want to argue about the manager because nobody is going to reach that. And I agree, on a normal circumstances, if we were going in the right direction, if we actually built a proper project and went down the fucking proper path, ultimately, we should be getting back to a place where UCL semifinal at worst. I totally agree. But we are not that. We are so far away from that. And we are going in the opposite direction of that. Not only are we not far away and we're not even going towards that. We're going the opposite way. We're going the opposite way of that, my friend. And that's why, like, you can't tell me that our level right now is UCL semifinal at worst. Is it supposed to be? Yes, but it's not. And we're very far away from that. We're very far away from that. And this leads to problems in the fan base because people believe that shit. And it's like, no, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's supposed to be that way. But then you also have to own up and say, yeah, but we're really not. And we really have to fucking do a proper process to build back up into that, don't we? Because we're far away from that. You know, it's not acceptable that we are where we are, but we can't pretend like we're one step away from doing that. We're not. We're not. This isn't 2010. This isn't even 2014. This is 2026. We're going on 13 years. We're fucking far gone from that. We're far gone from worst is UCL semifinal. We're not even a fucking regular top 4 team anymore. So if you want to get back to being UCL semifinal at worst, well, there's a process that we have to go through from here to here to here to here to here to here to here until we actually get there. But if people are not going to accept that because they don't believe in it, well, then we'll be running around like fucking headless chickens in the same shit. X says, what you say is completely logical, but I had more than enough of Omri. And I get it. And I'm not even making the argument like, bro, I just wanted to get to the end of the season because I thought it would just be better situation. You know what I mean? And then we can discuss at the end of the season, well, how that season went. It would have been 2 seasons, a year and a half or whatever it is. And we could look at it and say, well, is it going better or is it not going better? All right. And it's one thing if you don't like the football and you don't like the formation. But again, I think you have to be like objective. Like, it's like, well, what do you want? You want entertainment and you want to play dominant and you want to be. Listen, I agree. I know my Manchester United. That's what I want. That's what I miss. I get it. I haven't forgotten that. But I also will say at the same time, we're not going to get all of that shit all at once. It's impossible. It's not going to come back all at once. We have to build it brick by brick. You don't build the fucking house and just throw it all up in 1 second. You know, and unfortunately, I know it might hard to accept, but we've fallen the fuck off. And to get back, if we're going to do it right, if we're going to actually ultimately succeed and get back to where we believe that we should be and where the standards are supposed to be, but the process is still going to be brick by brick, and it's still going to take 3 to 4 years because we keep making bad decisions and we keep fucking things up and we keep pushing ourselves backwards. We were 6th because the league was fuzzy. Regardless, enough with him. I will also sure from the beginning that this will happen. Um, yeah, but it's just like, listen, but that's where we have the disagreements, because I'm like, dude, I listen, I can get some of the points you make, but at the same time, I'm like, we actually need to build, bro. We actually need to build, and for me, the reason why I'm so mad, and I always said this, it's not specifically about Ruben, okay? It's about the principle. It's about the fucking principle. It's about the direction of the football club. That's what I'm mad at. Ruben is he's a byproduct of it because he was the guy in that position. And I've always said, like, bro, my preferred formation is not a fucking 3-back or a 5-back. If I was a manager, I wouldn't play that. I would probably play a 4-back. But I don't like these things that people get so fussed up over. I don't believe that they are actually the big differences. That's why I disagree with the whole 4-back fucking thing and we're playing a 3-back, because I'm like, the issues are bigger than that. That's not going to solve our problems. That's not going to that's something that you get to later on. Later on. We're at like step 1 and we're trying to focus on like step 4 or 5. And it's like, what? Take care of step 1, then do step 2 and step 3. Then when we get to step 4 and step 5, we'll fucking sort it out at that time. Don't mean it's step 1 and start talking about step number 5. But, I don't know. Maybe people don't see them as step number 5. Maybe they see it as step number 1. But I think that then that gives the biggest difference. It's the biggest difference. Manuel Ugarte now wants to leave the club, says Lucky. Manuel Ugarte de Low now interested in leaving the club. Well, I'll look at the news in a second. Axe says, what you say is realistic, but I just want Ollie to make the boys win all matches. We shave them a motherfucker pash posh. We qualify in UCL. Yeah, but Axe, but I don't think that's realistic, bro. Listen, could that happen? I won't say that it can't happen, but I don't feel confident in that. I don't feel like that is a sound and structured plan. I don't think that that's a good direction for the club to go in. It doesn't give me confidence. And I can also see how you say, make the boys win all the matches, and, we say that motherfucker pish, pash, posh, we qualify in UCL. I could say the opposite of that real easily. And I think either or can happen real easily. Real easy. And if it goes the other way, well, I'll just sit here and be like, well, it wasn't fucking worth it, was it? And I don't think it was worth it from the beginning. I don't. I look at it as, listen, I do. I'm not afraid, dude. I do sports gambling. Okay, I do sports gambling. I'm a little bit of I'm a little bit like, I got a little bit of Fergie, with the gambles. Okay. Because that's what I grew up with, taking the risk. I take risks all the time. Sometimes I take stupid gambles, stupid risks, and I look back and I was like, now that was fucking dumb to do. That was stupid to do. And I'll do it with everything. I'll do it with the fucking stock. I'll do it with... But that's what I was raised on. Because I saw United do it, and he would take a gamble. And listen, you need some luck. You need to be calculated, and then you need to be smart about it for it to pay off more often than not. Which is what he was the master at. But I'll do it. But I'm telling you now, I'm looking at these guys, and I'm looking at the gambles they're doing, and I'm looking at the risks that they're taking, and I'm like, these are not good gambles. I would not fucking bet money on this. I would literally, like, if they told me to put money on these gambles, like right now, if you told me I had to put $500 on a gamble on whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick is going to get Champions League football after we sack Ruben Amorim, I would tell you one of two things. Either I'm not fucking betting on it because I'm so unsure that I have no clue of how this is going to go, or I would bet on it for it to not go well and put the $500 on that. So I'm looking at them and they're taking gambles. They're taking risks. And I'm like, these are really bad gambles. They're really bad. And like the consequences, it's not even like, the consequences are bigger if the gambles aren't paying off. It's not me losing my $500. It's me losing my fucking house. It's me ending up on the street level type of shit. That's how bad this shit is. So, like, again, look at it. I think so far they have gambled backing Ten Hag and not sacking him, which was a gamble. Now, listen, I'm all for going for the gamble, but you better make sure it pays off. And if it doesn't pay off, you got to suffer the fucking consequences. But they backed him, they didn't sack him. They then took the gamble of sacking him in the middle of the season and telling Ruben, and if it wasn't Ruben, it would have been another guy, but come in the middle of the season, don't come at the end of the season when it's better for a manager to come in. Okay? They then gambled in the transfer market in not addressing the midfield or even the defense, and they put all their eggs into one basket in the attack and spent all the money for the attack, which was another gamble, to try and get through a season with no addition to the center mid. Then you have Jason Wilcox coming out telling the players the season has been disappointing, but stick together and we could do better. I'm sorry, you're part of that, you jackass. You're the one that decided not to get a fucking center mid in. You're the one that decided not to get a defender or something. And you were part of the process that decided to not revamp any other part besides the attack. The attack is the only thing that massively improved from last season to this season under the same manager playing the same system. Why? Because we got in 3 brand new players. The rest of the team was the same old shit from last season. So when you look at the team and you say, well, the attack is doing better than last season, for sure. But the midfield is still shit and the defense is still shit and we're conceding goals. I wonder why. It's because we play a 3-back? It's because Ruben doesn't know tactics? No, it's because we didn't fucking get any players for those positions. We're using the same shit from last season. They ain't fucking good enough, and we didn't invest in it. But they want to tell me it's because of a 3-back, and I'm like, I don't think it's because of a 3-back. I think it's because we haven't invested in those areas, and we're using the same players as last time, and the same players as last time weren't very good, and they're still not good. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be good at all. But I've been ranting and raving. Let me get to the news, and let's close out the show, and then we'll come back tomorrow. Because it's Sunday, we got NFL football playoffs. I want to watch it. I want to go with my mates, and I need to take some time off of United because I'm getting headaches. I'm getting fucking stressed out by these assholes, that run this football club and the shit that they're doing and the shit that's going on in this football club. So let me just see if I get a couple things here that's pulling up on the timeline. I feel bad for Darren Fletcher. I hope people aren't fucking going at Darren Fletcher for any of these results because, again, to me, it's literally not his fault. He ain't prepared for this. He shouldn't be in this platform. People are coming out here saying, I urge all Manchester United fans, if you have a platform, use it. Every fan has a voice, use it. This beautiful club is getting destroyed from billionaires who don't care about any of you. The intent is to make the most money possible and then leave it destroyed. And I agree with this guy, and his name is Sully Talks. And Sully Talks is a guy that has been given and reporting us news. And big up Sully Talks. And the rest of them need to do the same. Listen, I'm a small channel. I don't have a voice. But I'll still voice my opinion. I don't care. I'll pretend like it makes some sort of difference. But all these people... They need to put their fucking egos aside. Yeah, these people, like he says, if you have a platform, you need to put your egos aside. You need to put your differences aside. You need to come the fuck together to save this football club. Okay, because that's the only way it's gonna survive. These people like Goldbridge and Saeed have problems, and Flex doesn't like them. They need to put their fucking egos aside. They need to put their differences aside, and they need to come together with a unified message and push it through. Okay? And until they decide that they don't want to fucking do that, we're going to continue to suffer. They need to do it. They need to. They need it. They need to do that shit. It's the only way. It's the only way. Um, and here's the thing, like, Darren Fletcher was asked on what the next manager needs to get out of the team, and he said confidence. He said, I don't know, being used to play a consistent style. Whoever comes in needs to bring them together, build the confidence by grinding out results. Of course, we want to play good football, but you've got to find a way to do that. Once you've done that, hard work, attitude, application. And again, I'm not going to go at Darren Fletcher for saying this, okay? But what I will say is, so basically, exactly like we were just trying to fucking do under the guy that was in charge of our football club for a year. So we're gonna repeat the same fucking process. We're gonna repeat the same process when we didn't even bother to go to the fucking end of the process of the first process. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna start from the beginning again. No. Yeah, I can't trust that. You could say, like, they go and get Nagelsmann or they get Ancelotti and he's not Ruben Amorim and they're better than him. Okay, great. But I don't trust the people that bring him in to follow through with him. Okay? You can like the new manager. You can trust him. He can have a better pedigree than Ruben Amorim. He could play a better football. But I don't trust these people to then now follow through with whoever that guy is. If they do it to one guy, they'll do it to the next guy. Nobody is special to them. Everybody is the same. So that's why I'm fucking pissed. Because they showed their hand. They showed they played it. They showed who they are. They showed they are unwilling to continue to follow through with what they set up. They showed that they don't have a fucking spine. They don't have balls, and they're not gonna find balls, and they're not gonna find the spine. They're gonna do the same thing to the fucking next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy. And we're going to continue down the path that we've been on, the same path for the last 12 fucking years. Even Terry Flowers comes out, and he was very unhappy with Ruben, and he would say at times that, he needed to be sacked, and I kind of got it. But to me, again, he's come out and he said, as I told everyone since for over 10 years, sacking a manager, even when it is the right thing to do, will not fix Manchester United. The squad is average and we are run. The way we are run is terrible. Boycotting and pulling your funds is the only way to get the Glazers out. That is the only way to fix us. The rest is just noise and folly. And I totally agree. So whenever these people in the fan base want to actually make the sacrifices, I will be there with you. I will be ready to go with you. But until the rest of these people, until they decide to do that, I ain't gonna waste my fucking time, okay? But people like Terry Flowers, people like Mark Goldbridge, and any of these other people that have a fucking platform, they need to be saying these things. They need to continue to push this, and they need to galvanize the people because, unfortunately, and not to be mean, but there is a lot of people out there that are sheep. There's a lot of people out there that they can't see the other side, whether they don't have the IQ or whatever it is, or maybe they're stubborn, or maybe they just lack intelligence, or whatever it is, or they need somebody to tell them what to do. But we need those people. We need them. Even if they are like that, we need them. We need them to be on our side. And until they fucking can get onto our side, we're not going to go anywhere. So we need these people. We need these influences. We need Terry Flowers. We need Goldbridge. We need these other people. I don't care if you like them, don't like them. We fucking need them because they need to pull this fan base together. They need to get these idiots that refuse to boycott, that don't feel like there's any hope to boycott, okay? That refuse to pull their money, all right? We need them. And we need people to fucking get rid of their egos, okay? Because there's people in the fan base that they won't back Goldbridge or they won't back Terry Flowers because they do content online and they're not real Manchester United fans. It's like, put your fucking ego to the side. temporarily. How about we get these people out of our football club, and then when we do, we will go fucking fight amongst ourselves. You know, it's the same thing that I was just saying, same concept. Why are we worrying about a manager? Why are we worrying about one specific player when the rest of it is shit? How about we focus on the other stuff first, and then when we actually build something and we're actually decently okay, then we can afford to worry about the manager specifically, or, you know, whatever it is, if it's fucking pretty or not, which is a luxury. It's a luxury if the football is entertaining or not. That's not a requirement for success, okay? That's not a requirement for being the best team. All right? That's the cherry on top. So it's the same thing for this. You know, people are coming out saying Amorim was never the problem. Players and owners are the issue. Facts. Well, listen, the players become a problem because ultimately the owners are the ones that buy the players, and ultimately they are the ones that make the decision on if the player is staying or going, if they're going to be sold or if they're staying, and who is coming in. And this is what I've been saying for 2 years straight. And I'm going to continue to say it until it's no longer fucking true. And I hope one day it's not true, so I don't have to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to have to keep saying, I wish it was the opposite. I wish I could say all our players are fucking great. I wish I could say our team is fantastic and they're amazing. And I wish I could go to all my friends that are fans of other fucking teams like Chelsea, like Liverpool, like Arsenal, or even outside of the league, Juventus, AC Milan, and I wish I could proudly stand in their face, look them in the eyes, and say, this fucking player is way better than your player. He's way better. My team shits on your team. I wish I could do that. I can't fucking do that. If I did that, that would be me lying. That's me being fucking, you know, a dumbass. Because it's not true. It's not true. It's not true at all. And it couldn't be far from the truth. I can't look at anybody. I can't say fucking specifically there's some player in my team and go to one of my Liverpool fans and say that this specific player shits all over your fucking team. All over. You don't got a fucking player like that. I can't do that. I haven't been able to do it for fucking years. Years. And it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do it anytime soon. Fletcher says the players have the quality to qualify for Champions League. They need to pull together and take their responsibilities. It's not just the manager, the board, it's everyone. Oh my god. Am I living in a fucking simulation, bro? I think I'm living in a simulation. I'm going fucking crazy. There's no way that he just said what I've been fucking saying for fucking time. There's no way. And these people that tell me United DNA, and Fletcher knows the DNA, what the fuck they got to say to this now? What do you got to say to that? Your United DNA guy, who you were happy for him to take over once Ruben got sacked because you got all excited because we're going to play a 4-back. What do you got to say to that now? What do you got to say to that? Because that's what we've been fucking saying. And I said, listen, I don't know if they really have. I don't agree with the first part, that they have the quality to qualify for Champions League, because I've been saying we need to fucking buy somebody in January to give us an extra push. I think, could they do it? Yeah, I think there's always a shot to do it. Can we make it easier for ourselves? Can we make it a bit more assured for ourselves? Absolutely. Go get somebody in January. We're going to need them anyway. And he says they need to pull together and take the responsibilities. And I will go back and say, they were already together under the fucking guy that half the fan base was telling me we needed to sack him in the middle of the season. They were already together. They were, okay, they dropped points to fucking Wolves. They played like shit, but they did it together. Now, what we're seeing, the game against Burnley and the game today, they are not together. They are they're disjointed. They are lost. They look more lost now than they looked under fucking Ruben when people were telling me they don't know what they're doing. They look more lost now. they look more, they look less together. There looks like a less of a cohesion. And it makes sense because you sacked the manager with the idea and you got this guy here for 2 games. He's come up with a plan. You know, he hadn't had a lot of time to work with. He doesn't have the pedigree. And the future is uncertain. We don't know who's coming in as interim. We don't know how we're going to play. We don't know how they're going to set us up. But, you know, but listen, now that Darren Fletcher, one of our own, yeah, legend of the football club, ex-player, now that he's managed 2 games and he's come out and he's publicly stated that it's not just the manager, the board, it's everyone. Okay, now these people are going to accept the message. Oh, it's not just the man. They were telling me for fucking time it was just the manager. It was specifically the manager. It was only the manager. But now that Darren Fletcher has come out and said it's not just the manager, these little momos running around with no clue and no idea, no actual thought in their brain, you know, now I'm going to watch them say online, they're going to go everywhere, even these fucking people and the pundits on TV, they're going to start saying the same, it was never just the manager. It was never just the manager. He was the big part of it, though. He was a big part of it, but it was never just the manager. You never said that at that time. You never uttered those words. You spoke only about the manager and always about the manager. And now you're going to come and tell me that it wasn't always only about the manager. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't buying the bullshit you're selling. I ain't buying the bullshit you're selling. You were fucking wrong, and you wanted to parade and say you were right to everybody, and you were fucking wrong. And now you're trying to twist the angle so that you don't have to admit you were wrong. Because fucking cowards. People are afraid to be wrong. Afraid. Scared. They don't have the balls to be wrong. All right? I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. I know I'm going to be wrong in the future. Because I'm a fucking human being. I'm a human being. Alright? I'm not awakening, bro. I've always been here. I know this. Listen, me and you, we didn't know each other, Mr. Axe, before I started this channel. I told you. I was trying to be involved in the protests in any way. And I said some of the things you said, and this is why I disagree with you, Axe, because I've always felt like some of the things of where you are as a fan, I was there 4 or 5 years ago. I've gone past that phase. You know, I feel like we're in 2 different phases. And I already did the phase that you're in. That's why I disagree with you on a lot of things, because I personally, you say some of the things, it's not that I necessarily disagree with the basis, the concept of what you're saying. But it's just like, I've already done this phase. I've already lived it. I've already gotten the answers out of it. And me and you are in 2 different, we're in like, you know, I was already there. I've moved somewhere else. You are where I used to be. So I get what you say, but I'm like, I've already seen it play out. I've already seen how these things have gone. I already know. I was there. Like, listen, I don't have a big account, a big name, but I still tried to do whatever I could because I felt a fucking responsibility and I wanted it to happen. I'm desperate for it to happen. I fucking emailed companies. I don't know if they ever read the emails. I could have been wasting my time. I fucking emailed companies every day. Brand associates with Manchester, and I emailed them talking about we're going to boycott your fucking brand because you did the deal with the Glazers, blah, blah, blah. Every day I was emailing. I was going on social media, tagging them in fucking posts, writing shit, talking about boycott these motherfuckers, boycott Adidas, boycott everybody. Every day I was spending hours doing it, thinking that if enough people do this, we'll get the change. And I hope it does. And I don't know, but it all fell apart. It all fell apart. And ultimately, these guys, they are the ones that have to spearhead it. And what I get disappointed about is the people that have the platforms, like Goldbridge, like Terry Flowers, like, listen, they're their own people, but I disagree that, and maybe they know things that I don't know because they're in that space and they have interactions with people I don't know anything about, but I disagree. If I had their fucking platform, like Axe was asking me, I would be leading the charge on this. If I had 2 million fucking subscribers, I would be leading the charge on this. I would be doing anything and everything to try and pull people together. I'd be calling people that hate my fucking guts. And I'd be like, listen, I know you fucking hate me, but is there no fucking way that we can figure out how to work together, even if it's for fucking 6 months, to get these assholes out of our football club? But I hear them go on their channel and they go, it just never happened. It'll never happen. There's no way that we can pull them together. It's like, well, you're not even fucking trying. You're not trying. You're not trying. And I'm like, you are the person that has to try. You have to try because you have the followers. You have the voice. You are the one that has to try. But they don't. They don't. And so I sit here. And this is why I yell at Axe, because he talks about revolution. And I'm like, I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm not going to waste my fucking time on it because these guys are the ones that have to do it. I am the one that will follow. I can't be the leader. I'm not in the position to be the leader. I don't have the platform. I don't have the voice. I don't have the power. They have the voice. They have the platform. They need to do it. And if they don't do it, we are fucked. We are fucked as a fan base. Because there's no chance without somebody leading it. There's no chance. And it doesn't have to be one guy. It could be a group. It could be a couple people. It doesn't have to be one guy. It doesn't have to be Goldbridge is the fucking leader of the whole thing. It can be a bunch of them together, leading it together. Lead by example. Show that, hey, like, we don't even really all get along, but we're banding together. We have different opinions, we're banding together to get these fucking people out of our football club. And I think that's a powerful message. Like, if you manage to do that, like, think about it. It might be a fantasy, but imagine you get Goldbridge, Terry Flewers, fucking Saeed, Flex, and all of them. And, bro, they all have problems, yeah? And maybe you get, like, the 58 involved, and you get some other groups involved that they don't necessarily all like each other. They don't like online fans. But, bro, if you pull those people together, do you know what message that sends to the rest of the fan base? Do you know how powerful that is? When people will fucking look at that and go, wow, I can't actually believe that they're working together. Like, they don't even fucking like each other. Like, look at the history. Like, Flex left fucking the United Stand, and Saeed fucking hates Goldbridge guts and shit like that, and they're actually, like, trying to do something together. Like, that's that incentivizes other people in the fan base to be like, you know what, if these guys are doing something like that, let me fucking do something. Let me cancel my season ticket, or let me not go to the game, or let me not buy the fucking shirt. Let me do something. But until we have that actual movement, there's no point. There's no point because it won't go nowhere. Nothing will happen. That is the movement that we need. That is the movement that we need. And until we get that, we're not going to get anything out of it. We're not going to succeed. And see, like, Lucky says Terry dickhead Ineos, like, but he's not saying anything bad. He didn't say anything wrong. The only thing we have the Glazers don't is the numbers, and that we need to be united. We need to be united, and people need to do this. I told Ineos and Glazers are also part of the problem. Most of it's on the Glazers, but sincerely, manager roulette is the only thing that will unite fans against the Glazers. And maybe you're right in the madness, Axe. I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. I mean, manager roulette, I think, is very bad for our football club in general. But, I'll give it to you, man. Maybe you're right about, maybe it has to be some sort of fucking absolute chaos. And it needs to be destruction for people to actually stand up and say enough is enough. And maybe that's unfortunate. I don't really like that path. I don't like that route. And I think that there's obviously, some negatives to that's going to come out of that, because on the flip side of that, we're going to push ourselves even further down. We're going to destroy ourselves even more. And then the rebuild from that is going to be even harder than it already is. But maybe that's what has to happen. Maybe it has to just be total, just absolute fucking shit. Just absolute garbage. Just absolute, like, chaos. So that people actually actually, because there's people that are fed up, but there's other people that are just, it's like they're sleepwalking through the whole thing. And those people need to wake the fuck up. And they need to join the rest of us. And they need to say, enough is enough. I'm not fucking buying into this anymore. And maybe the only way you get there is by just absolute total destruction. Which is fucking sad because I don't really want to watch that. I don't want to watch total destruction. I would prefer not total destruction, but sometimes there's no other fucking choice, I guess. Sometimes there's just no other choice, I guess. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Because to be fair, Axe, I mean, the Super League would be total destruction of everything that we know. It would be destruction of the Premier League. It would be destruction of the football as we know it. And when you look at it like that, that to me would be total destruction of something that obviously we love and that we don't want to change. And that was the threat we faced. And that managed to band everybody together. There was fucking people contacting, and Goldbridge said it, and I believe it at the time, and I remember him saying it. He was saying there was people that fucking hate me, that they were contacting us, asking us for support, and they're doing it behind the scenes because they don't want to be, they don't want to face like the public backlash, but they were calling him for support. And, and he was willing, and he said he was willing to help, and I'll believe him on that. And I believe that that was actually real. And it was like, see, like they were actually willing to do it. So I know that they can do it because they've done it before, but they have to be willing to do it. And you can't force people to do something. The more you try to force them to do it, right? They have to agree to it. They have to be willing to do it. They have to feel like it's their fucking decision. The more you try to shove it down their throat, and that's the problem that we faced the first time, guys. And I will tell you this. The first time, well, not the first time, but like the earlier time, the biggest issue we had was online fans versus the match-going fans, okay? Because that's where one of the biggest problems happened, because the online fans started attacking the match-going fans because everybody's like, you guys can't go into the stadium, stop buying the fucking tickets, we're not buying the merch, stop buying the tickets, you're giving them money, you need to stop giving them money. And the match-going fans, listen, they have some of their reasons. Again, like I always say, like, there's some people that they have fucking tickets that are through 4 generations of their family. And I can understand, because at the time, people weren't putting themselves in their shoes. Imagine you had a fucking ticket it's the same seat. Yeah, that seat, it's not just a seat. It fucking means something. That shit has been through 4 generations of your family. It's like your fucking great-great-grandfather was sitting in that seat. And you're being asked to fucking give that up. In the meantime, you know that somebody is going to take that as soon as you give it up. As soon as you call up and you cancel, they got fucking another 100,000 people waiting in the queue to pick up your seat. And it's like, people are they're trying to force you to give something of that level of sentimentality up. Just for you to lose it, just for nothing to happen, because everybody's not on the same page. And then what happens is everybody starts attacking them, and they're saying, well, you're supporting the Glazers, fuck you, and blah, blah, blah. And then they fire back, and they're like, well, you're not a real fan, you don't live in Manchester, you're fucking this and that and whatever. And then the cause just destroys itself. It destroys itself. So, but yeah, I mean, like, listen, like, we are where we are, and I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Darren Fletcher was asked on his future, saying, I have to report tomorrow morning to Carrington. That's all I know. I've had zero indication. All my energy and focus has been on these 2 games. It's a massive responsibility to lead this club, and I've given my best. Well, I guess we're going to find out tomorrow who's running our football club. I hope it's Michael Carrick. Just because I'm not a believer in doing the same shit twice. I'm not a believer in fucking going back. We had the Ali chapter. The Ali chapter ended. And I think I would just prefer we're gonna take a fucking shot in the dark, take it on Michael Carrick. Take it on somebody that fucking hasn't really actually done it before, you know? And go it that way. You know. Fletcher said difficult times, true character is going to show. They have to dig in and show they want to be a part of Manchester United's future and learn from this. Ultimately, if you're not, then I don't think you should be here. That sounds strong, but that's just the reality of how it should be. And that is the reality of how it should be. And again, I don't think Fletcher's saying anything wrong, but what I will say is Ruben had the same fucking message, man. He had the same message, which like tells me like, bro, he wasn't far off of it. Like he knew what the fuck he was talking about. That's the things that I was seeing. I was like, okay, the results and the performances, some of them are really bad and some of them are shit. But I'm like, bro, we can fix those over time. Like we need to build the squad up more. But I was like, there's a core concept and a principle here. You need to play. You need to fight. You don't. It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter who you are. Get the fuck out of this football club. Get the fuck out of this football club. And Fletcher is saying, Fletcher, after 2 games, and he hasn't gotten a win, a draw, and we got knocked out of the FA Cup, and Fletcher is standing here, and he is saying the same fucking thing that Ruben said for, and if Ruben said that, he probably would have get fucking pelters from half the fan base. And this is what I don't stand for. I don't like the hypocrisy. It's like, bro, you want to stand on something? Go ahead and stand for it. But then don't change it because it's a different guy saying a different thing or doing a different thing. Like, no. Like, if you have standards and you say, if you argue that we should be fucking guaranteed 4th place, no matter who comes into this football club, I want to hear you say the same thing for whoever the fuck is here. If you change it because now it's a different guy, well, then I can't fucking respect that anymore. Okay? But I'll disagree. And I'll disagree and argue about it over the details of it or whatever, and that's one thing. But if you tell me standards and now you get to bend it because it's not Ruben and it's some other guy, well then I don't respect that anymore. I don't respect you for that matter of fact. I mean, even Terry's saying I will always give new owners, managers, and players the time they deserve. However, I was wrong to believe that Ineos could turn this club around. While I preferred the Qatari takeover, I still felt that Ineos might bring progress and improvement. I am big enough to admit when I am mistaken on this occasion, and I was. The club needs new ownership, and it can't not be Ineos. And I'm right there with Terry. If I had to make a statement, I'd make the exact same statement. I mean, I've people know this that watch the show, and I've been saying this. Like, I will always give people time, and the time that I feel like they need to be able to try and accomplish everything. And I also understand that things don't go, it's not just from the bottom straight up, and you're gonna have setbacks, and that's part of the thing, and they need time. And I do it. I did it for Ineos. I was the same. You can literally go back to the first ever video I ever made on this channel. It's still there. The quality is shit. I probably speak way, I speak better now than I did then, so it's probably shit, but I leave it there for a reason. I leave it there for a reason, because it's a reminder of how I started, and I leave it there to show. I don't have to hide that, because some people might hide it and be like, oh, it's really bad quality or whatever. But the first video I ever did, it's literally me calling out Ineos and saying we are fucked, okay? But I still was like, well, let me give them a chance. Let me see if they can do it. I wanted Qatar. We didn't get Qatar. I was like, but, maybe they might still be able to bring progress and improvement. So I'll give them time to see how it goes. And quite clearly, obviously, it was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong in terms of that. I didn't feel too sure about them, but I said, let's give them the time. And I tried to give them backing, and it was wrong. You know what I mean? So, but I'm not upset about that, because I stuck to my beliefs, my morals, my laurels, the way I operate. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not, no. Like this, my principles, that's what I believe in. That's how I operate. And I did my thing and I've gotten my answer and now I can move forward. I don't have a problem with this. And people out there, they can come and attack me and I don't really give a fuck because who are you? You ain't perfect either. Don't pretend like your shit don't stink, which too many people do. They think they shit gold. Fletcher, well done. Fletcher, manager, not only good guy, board needs help, manager, new players, mentality, position, says Lucky. Lawrence, it's a significant low point. It should be a year of boycotting and fan protests ahead. We need to do something, man. And listen, maybe Axe was a bit right. Maybe it needs, with the fan ownership model. Well, hold on. I missed Axe's chat here. Listen, the only two options available, revolution, and hopefully that and its outcomes will be rational or a devastating disaster of the club followed by drastic change. And it will only work. Lucky says, mate, I never go, even had a ticket. Axe says, with the fan ownership model implemented after we get Axe, I will tell you this, bro, and I'm going to fight with this for you forever. We will never ever get a fan ownership model. It's not going to come. There's just literally no possible way of it ever happening. There's no other way of it happening. The Premier League won't allow it. The entire Premier League would have to fall to get fan ownership. Okay, we're not going to get fan ownership. There's just no possible way, especially with the Glazers here. Because even if it's chaos, even if we pull the money out and they start losing money, they're still going to sell it for some several billion. It's not like it's going to drop to 500 million or something. So we're never going to get fan ownership model. But what we do need is obviously a change of ownership, and we do need people that want to take our club and our institution and make it good. Like, what we need is a guy that is like the Manchester City owner, where it's not the money. Like, is he going to make money back eventually? Yeah, but that motherfucker has so much money. He got the club to make it into something that's on his name, so that they could say, I own, look at what I took, look at what I created, I made the best fucking thing, and I am that guy. That's what we need. We need people there that are going to do the same, that they're going to say, these people destroyed Manchester United, this club deserves or should be one of the greatest things. It's disgusting what they've done to this, and I am going to be the person that is going to fucking bring it back, because the importance of making Manchester United the best fucking club in the world is their ultimate goal. It is their biggest achievement. And will they make money later on from it? Sure, that's a byproduct. It has to be a byproduct. But we need the people, the main goal of whoever it is needs to be, there needs to be a feeling. There needs to be an urgency of, this institution deserves better. This institution shouldn't be here. And what's going to fill me with joy, what's going to fill me with happiness, what's going to make me feel complete is when I take this club from where it is and turn it back into one of the fucking best clubs in the world. And my name will go down in history for that. Forget about fucking making all this money. That money, I'm going to make it anyway if I do it. And it's not that important. You know, the people we have right now, is their goal is to make as much money because that's what they value in life. When they walk out of here or they go, they're going to go down in the history of Hall of Fame for making fucking $8 billion from buying a club for nothing. Okay. That's their Hall of Fame. They don't want to be immortalized by the sport or Manchester United fans. They don't give a fuck about any of that. What we need is a guy that is going to take this football club, this entity, and then wants to be remembered for making it amazing. That's what we need. Should be a year of boycott. Listen, Lawrence, if we actually properly boycotted and protested where it was like effective, they I'm telling you now, they wouldn't even last a year. They wouldn't last a year. Within 6 months, it would all go to shit. If we had an effective campaign where majority of people across the world stopped buying the merch, and then at the same time we somehow figured out a way for the people that go to the stadium to not go to the stadium, so they're losing match day revenue, right? And then if we could even take it one step further, and everybody sort of, or a large amount of people blacked out, the TV and didn't watch the game, which I would join in. I know my father would join in. If it was like an actual big, large enough movement, bro, they would be done within 6 months, because they would immediately look to fucking sell the club immediately, because they know that they're going to end up, they know that the value is going to go down now, and then they're not going to lose money that way. So they would look to just immediately sell it. Yeah. And it's like, they're going to get out. So, Lyle says the sun will shine on Manchester United again one day. Eric, you take care, buddy. I'm out of here. Well, good day. Good night. Early day tomorrow, 2026. About to officially begin work-wise, although I never really stopped. Yeah, I get you. So take care, Lyle. Be good. I hope it does shine on us again. We'll see what, tomorrow is a new day. So we'll take it one day at a time, and we'll see what we get as we continue to go forward. I hope something fucking happens of significance one day, but we'll be here together, at the very least. If we have to go through it, we are a community, we are a family, and we'll be going through this shit together. So we're not going to be alone through it, that's for sure. But cheers, Lyle. And he says, cheer, and all your Reds, be good, stay safe, my friend. Lauren says, sadly, it's not the level of Wrexham with the actor Ryan Reynolds. It's probably about 10 billion investment, which is why I suggest Musk last night. No evidence he has any interest in sport, just space. Well, listen, there's a bunch of people out there, right? That they do have a shit ton of money. Okay? They do have a shit ton of money. And listen, we know that in the Middle East, for example, these guys are listen, I think if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be somebody from a Middle Eastern country. Okay? Because these guys are getting heavily involved in sports. Now there's a fucking, morality to this, because some people say it's sports washing, blah, 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 blah. Listen, they're going to do it anyway. You ain't going to stop them. And also, I mean, the lesser of two evils, byproduct, they may be sports washing, but like at the same time, there's also a level of respect for the sport and the institution. They're not, it might be in a different way, but it ain't about money. It ain't about greed, and they're actually building the clubs and making them successful. And they're actually doing things for the surrounding areas as well. So, I think if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be somebody somewhere from the Middle East, because they have a lot of money and they are getting involved in all types of sports. They're getting involved in UFC, football. They're looking to get involved in the NBA and everything else. So I think if it's going to be somebody, it's going to be somebody from one of those places. I don't know, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, whatever it is. All I say is just that whoever the fuck it is, they need to come in with that sort of level of, I'm not taking this. The main goal is not to not make money. The main goal is I'm going to make my name remembered by making this fucking institution as great as it's supposed to be. And we're gonna turn it into a fucking absolute machine. And it's gonna be better than everybody else that's currently right now. That's what we need. That's what we don't have, because they don't care about that. That's what we need. But yeah, it's not like Musk ain't gonna do that. It's gonna be somebody from Saudi Arabia. These guys, at least they love the sport, right? We can argue, you can argue with all that other political bullshit. I'm not getting involved in that. At the very least, they care about the sport. They like the sport itself. Yeah. A lot of them are probably Manchester United fans as it already stands. The business side has to make sense. Okay? And you're not going to do something where you're going to get absolutely finessed as well. So I guess timing is everything. And we'll see what happens. If the Glazers get their way, maybe they get to stay here and they actually get their money, or maybe it goes against them. At some point they got to take an L, I would assume. But I haven't seen them take one yet. But statistically, or probability-wise, you would say, well, you can't... Can you really go undefeated? Can you really? Isn't it more likely that you suffer an L than you get another win? Somehow, some way? Wouldn't it be more likely at this stage that you actually suffer a real L? Instead of fucking keep getting W's? So maybe it's coming. But I don't know. I don't know. Musk is a Liverpool fan. Well, his father is a Liverpool fan. And his father wants him to buy Liverpool. But, yeah, Musk isn't... Musk got, like, fucking a bunch of other things going on. And I don't think he's, like, too entertained by sports. Yeah, so... again, like, he would only do it for the sake of fucking doing it because, I don't know, like freedom or some shit if he really felt like it. But, yeah. And then if he did it, I mean, he's not going to run it like that. He's going to own it. It's going to be like X, He owns it, but he's got people running it. Which is actually how it should be anyway, because I assume, if there's somebody like Musk, like, what the fuck does Musk know about the sport? Listen, you can have an idea, you can have a thought of how it should be run or, the proper way that things should go. But ultimately, you would hire people that actually know what the fuck they're doing and let them run it. And that's probably how it should be anyway. I mean, But somebody like Sajim, that's kind of his problem, right? Sajim is a problem because Sajim knows about the things he does in terms of his other businesses. He knows those things. So, like, he can ultimately be like, he's doing petrochemicals or some shit. He can ultimately be like, no, we need to be doing this. He has some sort of idea. He comes into the football world. He doesn't fucking know the sport like that. So, but he's an old guy and he's been doing this his whole life. So he feels the need to fucking get involved because at the end of the day, listen, some of these rich people, it's like, bro, I own this. Like, and what? I'm expected to not have a fucking input into the thing I own? Like, I own this. It's my money. I fucking paid for it. And what? You want me to fucking back off completely and not have an input? And it's like, well, I get that, but in this situation, Jim, you don't actually know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't actually know the topic. So yes, you should leave it into the probably more of the hands of the experts and not really step on their toes and make fucking decisions that you don't really know what you're talking about. So, bro, this is a huge mistake. We need a fan ownership acts, but we're not getting it, bro. This is the problem I have with you. You say this, but you say things that just like, how do we get that? How does that happen? It's not realistic, bro. It's not realistic in any case. Even if we went and we fucking burned down all the offices for Ineos and we tied them up and we put them in and we held them hostage, we're still not getting fan ownership, bro. It's just, there's just no way that it's going to happen. Like, I understand it would be super beneficial maybe for us if we got fan ownership. But we are in the reality of life. There is just no possible way that that's going to happen. There's no possible way. I don't know how you would get that to happen. I don't know how that could possibly happen. There's no process that I could think of that's ever going to happen. The fans can't raise enough money for it. Nobody is going to fucking, you say fan ownership, man. Some guy that's a billionaire that promises to give it to the fans, like that fucking Ziliakis guy. That guy's a dumbass. The guy is a dumbass, and he's full of shit, okay? And that would be a disastrous fucking model anyway. So any guy that comes and says that's a billionaire that promises to then give the fan ownership, well, I would tell you I would look out for that because I think that's a bunch of bullshit. No billionaire is going to spend his fucking money and then give a certain percentage to the fans without some, microcosm of something to get out of it, which is probably most likely money. So I don't really trust those things. And if you're talking about an actual, and this is what I'm saying, an actual fan ownership model with no fucking billionaire guy involved that promises to give us a percentage of the share, a real fan ownership model, there's just no way we get that. There's just no way. No Premier League has it. No Premier League team has it. No Premier League team is going to get it. There's too much money in the Premier League. There's too much money for Manchester United. There's just no way. Not even if we got relegated to the fucking championship would it happen. So, I'm sorry, but there's just no way that is ever going to happen. And I understand we need to have the management employed by us so they talk to us and be transparent. I get it, because that's how the other football clubs are run, and that's why people like Real Madrid can stay on top, because ultimately it'll be their fucking head and they get voted out, but we're never going to get that. And I don't even think we necessarily need that. We just need the right person, because other football clubs don't have that. There's no other English club that has this. But so why do they get to win? It doesn't mean that we can't win if we don't have a fan ownership model. It doesn't mean that our club can't be good again without a fan ownership model. All the other clubs in the Premier League do it. They win fucking titles and they're alright. They're fine. They're fine. We just happen to have the worst people possible ever that can own our... I'm telling you now, and he's a fucking dictator. I don't even think Kim Jong-un wouldn't be this fucking bad. Okay? And he's dictator of fucking North Korea. I don't even think he would be as bad as these guys. That's how bad I think they are. I think they are probably the worst possible human beings on the planet to own our fucking team. I don't think that there's actually anybody worse in the world than these fucking guys specifically. I don't. Now, maybe I'm being a fool, because like I said, it could always be worse, and it probably can, but I don't think, there's not many other people that are below them, is what I'm saying. I think the threshold is quite low. I think that this is as close as you could get to the worst of the worst. So we're already there. I think anybody else, unless we are the most unluckiest people in the fucking world and we are destined to be doomed because, I don't know, some curse or whatever, I think anybody that would come in after this, and you're going to pay all that money, I think there's no way that they can be anything like them. There's just no way. There's no way. I hate the word limit. Lucky says, Eric, my focus is fan making Manchester United club big again. At least, very least mentality. Lucky says Saudi bid coming in. Dude, I think that's the only thing that we have for us. It's got to be some sort of a Middle Eastern, or around that area. I think that's the only, because listen, those guys, they like the sport. Americans might try and do it, but I tell you what, these American business owners, these ones with a lot of money, I mean, it's not our sport. It's not an American sport. So I would tell you right off the bat, any American that would try and buy it, I would be very worried from it. I'm not going to be one of these guys and say, yeah, because he's American, I'm going to fucking back him. I'm telling you, I'd be very worried about it, because it's not our sport. I wouldn't expect them to have the love for the sport. Now, the people in the Middle East, bro, they like football. You know what I mean? They like football. They understand the sport. So I would be obliged to be like, okay, they have a shit ton of money and they like the sport. So I think it would be good for our football club in terms of that. The focus should then be turning Manchester into the best football institution and not a fucking business, Yeah, I I've never backed that guy. I don't mean that somebody buys the club and then gives it for free to the fans. LOL. I mean, we need to take over the club and implement. I'm just saying, like, we won't be able to do that, my friend. I wish we could. I wish there was something that like would allow us to do that, but the reality of it, the amount of money and all that, like it's literally impossible. It's so out of our hands because it has nothing really to do with even just our club specifically. It's just football in general. I mean, the amount of money that's in the Premier League, the amount of money that's there, it's so far away that like we can't do it. And anyway, like, you know, we probably had a fan ownership at one time. I mean, I would have to do research on it, but you know, when did that end? You know, it's fucking long time ago. I would assume. So, you know, and I think once you lose something like that, you're never getting it back. You're never getting it back. It's kind of like rights in life, you know, or privacy from the government. You know, once they fucking take it away, you ain't never getting it back. Once you let it happen, you know, you're not getting it back. We've seen that before. You know, we don't get it back. Once they strip it, it's fucking gone. You ain't getting it back. Fan ownerships will be more dangerous. We can't agree on little things. Imagine ownership. Well, it's got to be set up in a certain structure, right? Which you know, clubs have it. Bayern Munich have it. Even the Portuguese league has it. Porto has it, and Sporting has it. Like, there is. Now, they have their own complaints about it because I got friends that are Portuguese and they support all three of those clubs, and sometimes it does get a bit fucked up. It's not perfect. You know, you have to remember that as well. It's not perfect. There's issues with that as well, and it could lead to the club being run like shit. I mean, look at Barcelona. Barcelona have it, and Barcelona, look at what they went through. Look at what happened to them. You know, they spent the money badly. They fucking ended up in a shit position. You know, those people got voted out, but it was too little too late. The damage was done, and they're still fucking reeling from it as well. So, you know, it's not like that means that it's going to go perfect, because now it's in the ownership of the fans. And that's why I believe, like, what we need is we just need somebody that comes in and just, instead of looking to run it like a business, they need to run it like this is a fucking institution that I am going to make great, and everybody is going to fucking remember me, and I'm going to go down in history as the guy that made this fucking place the most amazing that they've ever seen. That's all we need. But then backed by money. You know what I mean? Backed by money. But like, because we need money. We need money to compete. We need money to do the rebuild. We need money to fucking, you know, we're very far behind. We need to spend a shit ton of money. A shit ton. Okay? We need the debt fucking cleared. So we need a guy that has a shit ton of, and I think there's a couple out there, but I think the problem is this discrepancy. Again, because even if you have all this money, the Glaze is asking for $8 billion. Okay, but you're not you don't have all that money for no reason. You're not a fucking idiot. Okay, you're not gonna go and spend $8 billion when it's not worth $8 billion, and you're not gonna then pay off the debt for them. You know, they're trying. The problem is the Glazers are trying to rip everybody the fuck off. They're trying to do highway robbery, and they're trying to ride off in the sunset while they're laughing at everybody else, calling them fucking idiots. And it's stopping these other people that might actually like have a love and affection for United, might actually fucking hate and think that it's a disgrace that where this football club is, and they would want to come in and fucking make it into something fantastic. But they're being stopped because it's like, I'm not going to make myself look like a fucking complete asshole and a joke and a clown and let these guys ride off into the sunset and win. So this is why, like, these guys have us by the balls. They are fucking us from everywhere you look. The Glazers are fucking us, okay? They are fucking us every which way. And it's all because they are greedy scumbags, you know? Yes, and you say, look at Real Madrid and Barca and Bayern, and I will and that's what I was just saying. Like, they have those models. Real Madrid tends to do okay. Bayern as well. Now they're in a league. Listen, it's not so hard, but they've had their ups and downs. Barca, though, you know, there's always a potential that could happen. Even from my three friends in the Portuguese league, sometimes They vote in a guy. He runs the club. Okay, but it's in an election. You can't just remove the fucking guy when you decide to remove him either. It has to, his time has to come up and he has to get voted out. If he's in there and, you know, you voted in somebody that's shit and he's fucked up the whole club, well, the club is now fucked up. So it's not like it's a perfect model either. There's risks with both. You know, there's risks with both. There's downfalls to both. There's positives to both. No, I'm not sleeping again, bro. I'm not sleeping. I'm telling you, we might need it, but we're not getting it. So the only alternative we have is whoever buys this football club for the fucking billions that it's gonna cost them, that we need that guy to not be a selfish piece of shit asshole that's gonna buy it to make money. Okay? Because again, like I will say, you look at the Premier League, there are teams in the Premier League that are successful. Okay? We were successful before the Glazers bought us, and we didn't have a fan ownership model. So we don't actually need a fan ownership model. You know, that's I'm gonna disagree on with you on this. We don't actually need that. It's not like fan ownership model or we're fucked. Okay? That's not 100% guarantee. That's not true. We can get a fan ownership model and be fucked. Or we could get somebody to come buy it and we can be fucked, but it's neither nor. Like there's no guarantee in either way. But for the situation that we're in, we're not going to get a fan ownership model. It's not going to happen. Okay? And this is the only time I'm going to talk about it because I don't waste time on talking about things that are just unrealistic. But we're not going to get it. And the only thing that's going to happen here is somebody with a lot of money is going to pay for it one day. And they're going to come and own this football club. And we need to hope that whoever it is not buying it to run it like a business. Which I would assume, I mean, if you're buying it for that amount of money, and depending on where you come from and who you are, you're probably not doing it for money. Because anyway, when you buy a football club or when you buy a sports team, you know, maybe the American sports teams, you make money, but for football, you don't buy a football club to make money because you have to constantly be putting money in. So it's not the greatest business venture to fucking make money unless you exploit it and you do what the Glazers do. But in typical way, if you respect the sport, if you respect the club, right, you wouldn't run it in that way. So we should be all right. Because we need to spend a shit ton of money anyway. We need like fucking... The amount of money that we need to spend to fucking help us be good again is a shit ton. And we need to clear the debt as well. That's been fucking us. So they gotta get rid of the debt and then they gotta fucking invest another probably like 600 million or more. Now, maybe they gotta invest less because there's gonna be a new stadium that they don't have to pay for. But that's probably gonna go on the club somehow. You know. That's the one thing that we don't know. It's getting built, and the Glazers aren't putting their money in, but where the fuck is the money coming from? Because Old Trafford Council, or the Manchester Council, they're only helping with the surrounding area. They're not helping with the fucking actual stadium itself. They're helping with like the houses and the area around. Where's the money coming from, or who's paying... you know what I mean? Who's paying for the actual stadium? Nobody's told us this, and we don't know. You know who's investing in this? Where's the money? Because somebody's gonna have to fucking pay that back. It's gonna be a loan. It's we're not paying for it in cash. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna dump that on the club. If they dump it on the club, we're gonna be fucked. Because if we're struggling now, and they dump that on the club, we're gonna do what Arsenal did. We're gonna do what Arsenal did. We're gonna do what Spurs did, where they can't spend any money for a certain period of time because they have to pay back for the stadium, so they can't afford to do transfers, and they were shit that whole time. Arsenal never spent money because they spent all that time paying back the fucking stadium when they moved from Highbury to the Emirates. Only now they started spending money because they just only recently stopped with the payments. They paid it off. They recouped the money and paid it off. And Spurs did it, I think, I don't know if they're still paying for it, but they had a few years and maybe they did it quicker. Shars 01B says money doesn't bring team cohesion or passion for the batch. Okay, but that's a separate issue, my friend. We have some big issues here money-wise, and again, if you want to compete, we need to spend money. We need to spend money. I know people don't like talking about money because football is supposed to be pure and it's not supposed to be about money, but that's just not the truth. And look at the rest of everybody else. They spend money and they succeed. The more money you spend, that you spend correctly, by the way, you have to spend it correctly. But the more money you spend, the more chance you have at succeeding. The more mobility you have, the more ways you can operate. Okay? I would love nothing better than to be able to buy a right back, and then the right back is shit, and let's go get another right back, and that right back is shit, and let's go get another right back till we figure out, and on the 5th, 6th try we get a right back, but now we got the right one. I don't give a shit. Now we have the right guy. Now, we're good. Instead of buying one right back, and now we're fucked because we got to keep him here for 3 years and hope he comes good, which he probably won't. And then we lose money. We struggle to sell him. He's putting in shit performances while, we need him to compete on the pitch. Bro, we had Sir Alex Ferguson and nobody wanted him out. We had a brilliant man in charge of everything. That's an anomaly. It's not even the right analogy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you mean we had Sir Alex Ferguson, nobody wanted him out? What does that mean? Bro, Sir Alex Ferguson didn't own the club. Bro, we had owners that were there. We had people that owned the club. And before them, we had people that owned the club. The people that own the club, they're the ones that hired Ferguson. They started the fucking whole process of it. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Barcelona has bounced back after the debt crisis, look ready to win Champions League again with this manager and team. Well, sort of, but I think they're still trying to play the victim fucking game because they're telling Lewandowski not to score goals so they don't have to pay bonuses to fucking Bayern, which is like, I don't know, scheming, scamming. You're worried about money. Then they want to tell us that they can't afford to pay 30 million for Rashford and they want to renegotiate it to 10 million because they don't have money. So they've sort of bounced back, but I don't know if they're playing a game in that they're pretending like they're still fucking broke and they're trying to rip everybody off, or they're actually still reeling from it. But that, yes, has fucked them for a while. And they've bounced back to a certain level for sure. But I don't think it's as strong as they once were once upon a time. I'm not blind. I'm not blind, bro. I'm not blind. You just live in a fantasy, dude. That's all it is. Don't tell me I'm blind. I know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Brighton doesn't spend that much money, and even if Man United does spend money, they go to waste. Okay, Shars, I need to just stop you real quick. Brighton doesn't spend that much money. Okay, where is Brighton, and what does Brighton do? And are we Brighton? Okay? Don't be afraid to spend money. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Listen, we need to spend money. There shouldn't be a phobia of spending money. I know we took $1 billion and we pissed it down the drain, but that's because we have fucking idiots. All right? We cannot be afraid to spend money. This is the Glazer. This is Glazer like Munchausen syndrome or whatever the hell you want to call it. People are afraid to spend money. People are afraid of the wage bill being high because we have idiots running our football club and they have fucking destroyed us. We should not be afraid to spend money. We should not be afraid. We shouldn't be saying we shouldn't spend this much money. Okay? It is a pure fact. We need to spend money. We need to spend money. Everybody else spends money. They spend it good. We just need to spend it well. So when you get a change of ownership, You would hope that the people that come in, they take the money and they spend it well. But we should not be saying we can't spend money, we shouldn't spend money. We need to absolutely spend money. This isn't the 90s, and even we fucking did it at that time anyway. We spent money in the 90s. Look at what we paid for Wayne Rooney. That the amount that we paid for Wayne Rooney at that time, in today's time, is nothing. If you do it for inflation, Rooney cost like 200 million. Rio cost like 150 million or some shit, okay? So we spent money before, especially for that time. We spend less money now, and we spend it terribly. We're not Brighton, all right? If you want to be Brighton, and we don't fight for Premier Leagues, and we don't be in top 4, and we just be some team that finishes 8th, well then yeah, let's go ahead. We'll be Brighton. All right, we don't have to spend the money. We'll get in some lower tier players. We'll get in some no-name coach, and we'll have him coach, and then we'll just be happy to be in 8th place. But if you want to go win Premier Leagues, if you want to go win Champions Leagues, if you want to be in Champions League every season, if you want to be going neck to neck with Liverpool and Manchester City every season, well, we need to spend money. Barcelona, they win the league and went to UCL semifinals with all that debt, bro. But it's a different. First of all, it's a different league, and it's a different situation. Okay, they had that debt. Our debt is way bigger than them, and we still have it. And the team was run better, and the team was put together. As much as they fucked up with their debt, they didn't do the disaster that we've done. Okay, so it's on a totally different level. It's not even the same. Our situation specifically, don't look at Barcelona and talk about, don't look at La Liga. Don't look at Barcelona. Look at the Premier League. Look at what the teams spend in the Premier League. Look at the teams they have. Look at the quality they have. Okay? And look at how much better they are than us, and look at how much money they're continuing to spend. The only way we are going to catch up to them is we need a structured, sound plan, and we need to spend money. I don't know why you don't want the club to spend money. I find it weird. I find it very weird. What is the reason why you don't think that we need to spend money? Why do you think that we can do it in a way where we're going to get a bunch of players and we're going to turn them into superstars? Because that doesn't work. That doesn't work. No team. Look at Manchester City. Look at what they were. Look at what they've become. Look at what Liverpool was for 20 years. Look what they did. Look what they've become. All of them have spent a lot of money, and they've spent it well. Okay? So it's not about don't spend money. It's about spending the money well, and we need to spend it. The only way we catch up to these people is by getting money and spending it. Okay? Look at what we just went through. We had Ruben Amorim here. The team needed a massive shift, a massive change. Okay? What did we do? Because we are limited, we spent 200 million on the attack. Okay, the midfield needed a revamp. The midfield needed another 200 million in it. And the defense probably needs another 100 million or something like that, and 150 million in it, okay? And that's just for, you would probably say, the starting 11. Then you would probably go back in and say, we got to strengthen up the depth in the squad. We'll spend another 150, 200, 250 million over a couple periods. Bro, that's the money. Okay, what is Man United? What is Man United right now? What is Man United right now? Shit. What do you mean? Man United, and you talk about Champions League. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Like, you're not even making sense. Now you're writing in all caps like you're trying to yell at me, bro. Like, write out the thought in complete, detail. Write it out, and let me know, bro. Like, what are you trying to say? What are you talking about? I can't mention Manchester United with Champions League. Why not? Why not? Give me a good reason. What do you mean? Guardiola spent 200 billion. Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Did the Glazers send you here, Shars? Did Ineos send you here? Have they sent a spy? Did they send you here to try and convince me that we don't need to spend money? Because we absolutely do need to spend money. We should be spending money right now in January. Do you not think that we need to actually buy a player in January? Do you think that we, you know, do you think the squad is fine the way it is? So we should spend zero in January. Because I find that hard to believe. And if you say that we need a player in January, well, that's spending money, and that's what I'm talking about. We need to spend money. Now, I'm not saying take a bunch of money, throw it at the wall, and hope it sticks, because that's stupid. Yeah, that's doing it without a plan. No, you need a structured plan. You need people in positions that are smart, that know what they're doing, that are going to get good signings in, that are going to spend the money well. You got to spend the money well. It's like when you hit the lottery, yeah? You ever hear those stories of those people that they hit the lottery, they win millions, and then they end up poor again? Why? Because they don't have a plan. They didn't know what to do with it. They basically threw the fucking money in the air, and they were like, oh, it'll never end, and then it ran out. Okay? But the people that actually win the lottery, that aren't stupid and aren't dumb and are like half decent, what they do is, well, they secure some of that money, they put it in some investments and some other stuff so that they make sure that they don't run out of the money. And then their future is good and they are secure and they're all right. And then actually they could probably go on to be even better than whatever they were. You know, if they were working in like some retail store or something, they're never going back there. Maybe they'll own like a business or something now. Spend the money wisely. Transfer news needs and not how. I don't know what's happening. Anyway. Yeah. I think Shars is gone. So listen, I'm getting out of here. I gotta go. We've been here fucking it's been 3 hours and 30 minutes. Way too long. Way too long. I gotta get out of here. So listen. What was I gonna say? Show tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. UK time. If you subscribed and you're new, thank you and greatly I can't find my words. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciate the support. If you smash the like button, thank you as well. If you didn't smash the like button, please make sure you smash the like button on the way out because it is important to the channel and it does help. So make sure you do that. Everybody have a good evening, good night. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. We'll speak tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Be there. Don't be late. Get in there early. Bring your questions, bring your thoughts, bring your opinions. We'll see what tomorrow gives us. I'm expecting the announcement of the interim manager, so maybe I might have to go early, a little bit early. Maybe we do 2 shows depending on when they decide to announce that, because if they announce it quite early, well, I'm gonna have to do a show covering that, and then we'll do a regular show. So just be on the lookout. It's a new week. We're sort of in this unknown period, so you just never know. Anything can happen, anything can be announced at any time and stuff like that. So yeah, other than that, thank you. Thank you to all the new people. Thank you to the people, the day ones that have been supporting. Greatly appreciated. Hope everybody is going to be okay and well. And go relax, go take some time off, and hopefully fucking United calms down a little bit, sorts itself out, and stops stressing us all the fuck out, you know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, just be good, stay safe, guys. And again, thank you for the support, and we'll see you tomorrow, all right? Have a good night.